Start recording. Minimize this. All right. It ain't like I said. It ain't gonna be nothing fancy. You don't gotta be no particular. I'm just gonna be asking you fucking questions. Let me full screen this so we can look a little better. Hopefully this comes out good. My second is usually like a 5-second intro. So we'll pretend shit, I might not even do an intro. It might just be one of those like we just come right into the conversation. So, quick intro. Welcome to the GINKO podcast. This is for gamers who like anime, sneakerheads who skate, and gardeners who love cars. That's gonna be my intro line to the podcast. I think I'm still working on it. So you guys see me now. I am being accompanied by my best friend in California, my brother from another mother. I grew up with this guy, 4 years older than me. We spent shit probably over 365 days together consistently for years.
Yeah,
For
done.
years.
Almost fuck.
So
Fucking 50, 10, 7 at least, right? 10 hours a day, 7 days a week.
at least including the Puerto Rico trip and shit, that didn't even break us apart.
Yeah, man. That was crazy.
So yeah, I want to give an introduction to, like I said, my brother from another mother. Man, his name is Larry Ross. Currently
Thank you.
resides in California. He is a cannabis grower. He does so for himself and for profit to support his family and stuff like that. So we're gonna be picking his brain. I used to grow out in California. One of the people that I would like to touch when I build up this tribe is people who smoke cannabis and whether recreational for medicinal purposes. Just to touch on the benefits, not the benefits, growing. If you guys have any questions, uh, leave some in the comments. I'll be sharing his social media at the beginning and the end of this video. I'll just see how I end up editing it. But if you guys have any questions, I'm sure you guys can hit him up as well. Follow his page as well. He's always constantly posting updates on his harvest, on his veg state grows of stuff flowering. His wife as well. He goes by Mr. Sticky Fingers. She goes by Miss
That's
Sticky
right.
Fingers.
Yep.
Um, so Larry, give yourself a quick little intro, my guy.
What's up? Hi, everybody. My name's Larry. Like Sergio said, we've been homies, for a long time. And yeah, so I'm growing now. And I'm just here to help people, grow and, learn a lot of stuff and share some experiences and knowledge that I have. And thanks for having me on your show. And it's an honor and a new experience. This is my first podcast, and I hope it goes well. And
Thank you.
yeah,
You're
let's
you're
enjoy
officially
ourselves.
my first guest.
Well, oh, we're popping each other's cherry. Let's do it.
There you go. So let's start with the easy questions. How long have you been chiefing?
Um, since I was about 19 years old, that's when I officially started. But I first started smoking. I first tried smoking when I was like in sixth grade with a couple of friends. I got some stories, but the very, very first time I ever smoked marijuana, I was like 9 years old. And my sister, the story is my sister was outside smoking and she used to use me like a guard dog. So
Mm-hmm.
she'd be like, hey, go chill in the front. If mom comes, just come race and come tell me. So one day I decided not to watch. I was like, she never comes. So I was so interested in what she was doing. I thought she was smoking cigarettes. So I'm like, oh, what is it? What is it? And I kept harassing her about what it was and what she was doing. So she was like, here, she just stuck it in my mouth and I smoked it. And I pretty much don't remember what happened. She, we went to a friend's house, and I don't know what happened after that. But
And,
that was my first experience smoking, and after
but
that, it was like sixth grade, and at South Park. I don't know if you remember South Park.
yeah.
Yeah, so there was this little park in the area, and I went to go skateboard, and these guys are smoking at a table. I sit at the table, and oh, you're a bitch, try it out. So I ended up smoking, and I got caught by my mom, so I stopped smoking.
Mm.
And
This is when you're still living on 166. by the train track.
Yeah, yeah, 166 on the train track.
All right.
Yeah, shit.
And so, like, you didn't start consistently smoking until we started chiefing together.
Yeah, yeah.
Which sort of my yeah, okay, okay. Which would be around my senior year. No, you started smoking a little bit sooner then, because I started smoking my
I
senior
think
year.
it's,
If you started smoking like
I
19,
think,
you had to be like in
yeah, I
your
think I was smoking.
22, 23. Because I know you
Yeah,
had
that
a
was
couple
that was.
sessions with Fabian before I was even involved.
Oh
Like you,
yeah.
Fabian, and
So that
Ian
was
had your own little moments.
yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. You want to go that far back? Probably around 2002.
I would say that's when you
Right
started
before.
doing consistently, because that's when you got the medical card and we started hitting up. What's that? That 420 highway shop.
Yeah, that actually the 420 Highway Shop came around 2006, 2007. Because
Actually, they had no,
I
that
wasn't in
no, yeah,
school.
that's more accurate. Yeah, because no, that's when those were my senior years. You're right. You're right.
2005 is when I first got the med card. And you remember how that was? We were like the only people in the neighborhood with that
Hell
shit.
yeah, that shit was fun.
Yeah, nobody had it. Yeah, we were the connect. We were the plug for the stuff in the
That's
neighborhood.
honestly, man, driving around doing that shit. What is it? We're past 7 years statutes of limitations. We could talk about that shit. uh,
Yeah,
that shit was
and
fun. Honestly, that shit
it was
would.
hot back then, right?
Yeah,
It was hot.
technically it was then. At that point,
Yeah.
we had Serge helping us. Remember what's his name? Robert.
Yeah.
Robert and
Robert?
Fredo. Yeah, wasn't that Serge? Wasn't that his
Yeah.
name?
The Minions. The Minions.
The Minions. Yeah.
Yeah, the Minions.
Uh, yeah.
Robert and Alfredo.
Robert and Fredo. Yeah, yeah. That was his name. I remember
Robert and
Robert
Fredo.
Chicken. He had the yeah. I used to call him Chicken something because he used to look like a little fucking bird and shit.
Alfredo was a short, buff one. I love Mortal
Yeah.
Kombat.
Whenever I think about
But
Fredo,
those
I
guys,
always think about that mission that he had to bust after we did the mushrooms at the beach. Remember, he still had to walk back home and shit down Normandy. Bro, that felt so
yeah, I
bad, but we
remember
were
that.
all
I
fucked
remember that.
up.
I remember that.
So,
Yeah,
all right,
those were good adventures.
those
Yeah,
those were good
yeah,
adventures. So,
yeah.
okay, so when was your
That's what I'm
first
talking about.
time seeing a cannabis plant with your own eyes? You remember that?
No, I don't remember that. It
Interesting.
wasn't important to me at that. It wasn't important to me at that time. I didn't care. I've probably seen some plants, but I didn't care.
I got you.
It didn't matter because I like before I started smoking, I was that don't drink, don't smoke, don't do anything.
Mm.
I didn't do anything. I was like
So if you
clean.
just saw it, you just
So
ignored it.
yeah, it was easy to ignore it. I was around it all the time. It wasn't hard for me to just ignore it. It wasn't like something. Oh, I gotta try. It's like nah.
Yeah,
I'm accustomed to seeing. I was accustomed to seeing crackheads, people that were drunk, people that were smoking all the time. It was the '90s, the early '90s. Crack shit was in still where I was living.
yeah.
So I wasn't. It wasn't like, oh, I gotta smoke weed like everybody else. So it wasn't until um, like my senior year. That's when me and Fabian, when I got kicked out of when I got kicked out of high school,
Mm.
and we had to go to that continuation school.
That
And I
Moneta,
got
right?
kicked out of that. Yeah, I got kicked out of that school because I wrote an essay about the school, and they didn't like what I had to say about it. And I got kicked out. I got kicked out for an essay, and out of the five teachers, they wanted me to stay because the essay was pretty good, but it was just
The topic wasn't
I
right,
was
but it was constructed right.
it was raw, it was blunt. I was just talking about the ineffectiveness of a school and how it's like we're supposed to be here to learn, but it feels like we just learn how to be criminals in here. You know,
Yeah.
like
So
yeah.
just
So
a woke ass essay.
you can say that more conscious than woke, I would say.
Yeah. All right, for sure.
So basically, I was just a little bit too old to be in school. I was fucking around too much. I took the wrong route. I wasn't using drugs. I just couldn't concentrate in school at that moment in time. There's too many things at home. I basically lived at your house.
Yeah. Yeah, you
So
did.
it wasn't that things were hard at my house or anything like that, and it wasn't that it was lacking anything. It was just didn't have that homey feel, that homey vibe that you guys had at your house. And I think it was just the way because your parents kind of worked together, and like my parents were like, it was like a fucking like a metro station, like trains just coming in and out, coming in and out. So your home was always a home away from home.
Mm.
So
I think that's what
yeah,
drew a
that
lot
was
of
the
people to my crib is that homey
yeah
vibe.
everything.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
like my parents were just parents to everybody. Like, yeah, we're in just like said he was friends. Like, nah, like look, like think about it. Every
Nah,
time you was over, you always had a plate. Like you were never even asked if you were hungry. There was always a
yeah, it
plate.
wasn't even a plate. It wasn't even a plate, brother. I had a chair at your table.
Yeah,
And then
exactly.
yeah, I had a chair where I sat, and that was Larry's chair, and I appreciate that. And it made me really feel like you know, and that's why I talk so high. I speak so highly of your parents today. I still do.
They finally went
And
to
your
Guatemala.
family.
They left last week, uh, Monday or whatever. They officially there, retired.
Well, the phone still working. We got internet. I can still talk
Oh,
to them.
not for sure. I spoke to them today. So I want to plan a surprise visit for them eventually once my finances are in order. All this podcast stuff starts popping. So uh so let's get to
That shit.
your medical card. So when did you get your medical card?
2005. I'm gonna tell you that story.
There you go.
So it was like 2004, 2005, and around that time, you remember I was working at the hydraulic shop, building and
With
custom
Fabian?
hydraulic. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's when Eric Crane, everybody was working there. That face was cracking. So
I didn't know Eric worked there too.
yeah, yeah,
I know you did for a
yeah.
stint, but I don't remember seeing you in there.
No, yeah. I remember Eric Crane. He would like go and help out, and he'll have his days when he would work and stuff like that. But it wasn't like his job. I think he was just there to help out.
I got you.
Um, but around those times, we used to go to Westchester and go kick it at Fabian's house every Friday, and we would buy weed. But in Westchester, back then there were shops, but they were like secret shops. We didn't know how to get in. You had to be part of a club, which was basically get your med card and go to these co-ops and sign up, and then you're like a member. So before we knew all that information, um, we would go visit our friend Slim. I don't even remember Big Slim, Big Tall Slim.
I do remember Slim.
He had the blue Chevy Nova. We used to go racing with him.
Yeah, yeah, I do remember Slim.
Yeah, with the frogs, and that fool was crazy. He used to fucking freestyle Metallica songs with strobe lights and fog lamps in his room and drive his mom nuts.
Oh shit.
And yeah, we'd be right there laughing, and his mom be banging on the door. Turn that shit down, bro. He'd be fucking rocking out with the strobe light and the fog. He didn't give a fuck about it. You know how they say, some people curse at their parents. That fool curse at his mom. Like, shut the fuck up. Just walk out smoking and shit. So he would be smoking some weed. So we would go to his house and he'd just have a little joint and we'd just pass it to it. And man, that weed would really fuck us up. It was like, damn, this shit's really good. It's like not this pretendo, stress, Arizona stuff that we were smoking on.
I don't haven't heard the
And
word
we
stress in forever.
we had Kush, we had like Bubba, we had OG, we had Fire, but it was just a little bit not in the realm of affordability when you need a lot of people to smoke and nobody's working at that time. We're just like
Yeah.
hustling.
Yeah, not for sure.
But but this is a little bit at the time where we were already working at the hydraulic shop. So, we had some money. We were like, fuck, we don't want to buy stress anymore. We don't want to buy fucking pretendo. We don't want to buy shit from, we're like trying to taste this shit that we're smoking over here in Westchester. So he was like, oh, you got to talk to my friend Salad. So here we go, like fucking Cheech and Chong on an adventure to go find this guy Salad. He's at a park. Like, I don't know what he has. I don't know where he's at the park, but he's got a yellow S2000 and it's really loud. So
Damn.
we're driving around and we see the yellow S2000. I'm like, hey, what's up, Salad? And that nigga don't know me, but he knows Fabian. So he's like, oh, give me $40. And he gave us an eighth of some train wreck. That was the first medical bud I ever tried with some train wreck. And it came in
Mm.
and it looked like a pill bottle. Like it was
Like
like
the
a
like the
brown
green
pill
dispensary
bottle.
bottles, but regular medication
No,
shit.
like a regular medication. And it had his name on it. And it looked like an actual, like, pharmacy. It
Like
looked
a
like a pharmacy
dispensary
thing.
container.
Like medical marijuana. and I had a little green cross on it. So um, once we figured out, what he was talking about, we kept harassing him. We kept going back and like, hey, we need more bud. We need more bud. We need more bud. But this time we need more bud. And he was like, nah, you gotta do it yourself. And he told us, he mentioned you gotta get a medical card. You go to Hollywood, get a medical card,
So
and then
that's how
you can
you
pull up
found
the
out
club.
about it because of him.
Yeah, yeah, just
Ah,
fucking buying weed, wanting to buy good bud.
yeah,
So he got tired of us harassing him and finding him. He was like, "How the fuck do you keep finding?" I was like, "Well, Eric keeps telling us where you're at, yeah, because we're harassing him." So I was like, "Medical card," and for a while we slept on it. We just fuck it. He doesn't want to sell his weed no more. He kept ignoring us, so we stopped driving all the way to Westchester for it just for a while. And then one day I was chilling at Abel's house, and then I'm sitting down. Abel's like, "Fuck, man, we want to get some fucking Kush, some Bubba, some OG, something." And we were paying like 25 a gram. People were selling it for 30 a gram. We're like, "Fuck,"
damn.
you know, going broke, dog, trying to buy some good Kush. And Abel
Yeah,
always wanted to smoke OG, fire. That's it.
yeah, yeah, hell yeah.
So yeah, so around that time, we're we go on the internet and I'm like, oh, medical marijuana. There's this doctor named Hoffman or something Hoffman or whatever, some Jewish doctor. And we go to West Hollywood, we park, and we sit down, and then we fill out this application. And it isn't it? He's scared. He's like, what do I say? And I feel like it's the scene in fucking the scene that was in Scarface. They're like, yeah, I told him to tell you this and this and this and that. This guy goes in there, totally botches the whole shit. He's just laughing in there. I don't know. He gives up and just tell him, I just want to smoke some good weed or whatever. The doctor didn't give a shit. They didn't care. That specific guy didn't give a shit. He was like 250, pay the lady. He put the stethoscope on his chest and do. He was like, all right, you can
Damn.
have it. And I
No,
went in there and I was like, he seen us come in together, right? So this guy already burnt it out. I go in there trying to be all straight, professional. Like, yeah, my back hurts and I can't sleep and all this. Like he's like, all right, whatever, 250 in the front. He didn't believe shit. He just seen $500
yeah,
in
he just
five
wanted this
minutes.
cut quick too, right? Damn.
And I'm all nervous thinking it's legit. And I look at the seats, it's a bunch of youngsters, like not youngsters, but people in
Motherfuckers
their
like
20s
y'all.
look healthy as fuck. Huh?
Motherfuckers
What's
younger
up?
than y'all.
Basically, looking all healthy and happy and going in there, oh yeah, I'm gonna buy some weed. We're the ones clueless, at that moment in time. So he gave us a coupon. He was like, go up to this shop over here and you get a discount. So that was the first shop. I don't know what Hollywood shop it was, but when we went in that shop, it was
Is
just
that the
like,
one you took me to
what?
when I got my card? Is it the
In
same
Hollywood?
one? I
The
remember going
doctor?
to a one in Hollywood, but the one I went to was an Asian doctor. Was
I
yours
don't know.
Asian?
Maybe, no, he was a Jewish guy, white guy.
Okay, because I
Uh,
remember going to Hollywood for my shit. But I mean, let's be real. That's where all the spots were at that point. It's fucking
yeah,
Hollywood.
anyway, at that point, everything was Hollywood, Reseda. If you
Yeah.
want good stuff, you have to be in Hollywood. Around here, maybe some places in downtown.
All right.
West LA. That was the spots if you wanted some good stuff around that time. And I
Yeah.
remember there being like 400 shops, and we just all damn near went to all of them. And then suddenly there's like 800, and there's like 1,000. Shit was just getting crazy, and we
Yeah.
were just, and then we decided, fuck it, let's just start selling weed, you know. So,
I do
and
remember
then
that.
I got a whole bunch. I got a million stories about that shit too, and all the different adventures, But
We'll get to those stories at another episode. That'll just be a whole fucking story time.
mm-hmm.
Um. All right. So that's when you got your med card. Okay. So we're
Yeah,
just
yeah.
gonna fast forward to the growing the plants part. That's where we're gonna start picking the brain. So we lost video. You can still hear me though. Ah, there you go.
Yeah, my bad, my bad.
Are you good? So plant wise, let's go with. I know recently you just, at least since we kind of caught up, you've actually been growing it like legit since you've been out there. So like, let's start from that point. So, how long have you been growing out where you stay now? I don't know if you want people to know where you stay. city wise?
Well, well, I've been growing off and on since I first moved out here from LA. Um, my first harvest was in 2020, and I just kind of been sailing along. And then this year, I actually went spent a lot of money and went full out. You
This
know,
year, like 2023, you mean?
yeah, yeah. I actually decided to like make it my occupation and the way I make money.
Okay.
Yeah. I finally decided to just do what I want to do as opposed to trying to fit everybody else's conformity.
What was the first plant
Mhm.
that you started out there? Do you remember?
Yeah, it was some Jack Herer cross with some Candy Kush.
Seed or
That
clone?
was the first one. Those were seeds.
You started multiple.
Yeah, I started like 15 or 16 seeds, and I picked the best looking, strongest ones, which were like two, and then I cloned those. And I had a total of like 10 plants, five of each phenome that I was able to select from that pile.
Do you like if I give you 10 seeds, do you pop all 10? Do you have a certain number that you always keep on the side just in case? Like do you pop seven,
Well,
keep three,
yeah.
or shit like that?
Um, well, I like to play the numbers, so I would, if you were to give me 13 seeds, I would pop with 13 if they're regular. If they were reg seeds, like possibility male, female,
Correct.
I would pop all of those, and then, um, you know, grow those out until I can sex each one, and then, take away, select the males and either destroy those or use those for some sort of pollination, or that's what I would do. And then from those females, take the weak ones out and select the whatever traits that I like the way it's forming. I like the way it's stacking. Do I like how tall or short it is? Is that the phenol I'm looking for?
Have you done a
Or
breeding grow before already?
no?
Are you
Uh-uh.
saving genetics right now at this point to kind of just do it in the
Yeah,
future?
yeah. I got a few things that I have in store that I want to try to create with. But right now, I just want to get growing, get some capital going, so I can, because it takes time and it's going to take a lot of money to start um, wanting to do your own breeding in genetics. It takes a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
That's because you got to pull them out. Then you have all these seeds that you just crossed these two plants with from, and then you got to do a like pheno hunt from those. Select the ones you like. Got to grow those out. Make sure you clone those.
Is there?
Grow those out.
I've
It's
never
just a
asked this
big
question, I
selection.
guess, but is there a like let's say so when you're breeding, right? For those who don't know, you're essentially trying to get a specific trait or characteristic from a plant, right? So that that can be a
Yeah,
continuous part of the plant.
yeah, yeah.
So, is there a
So
specific
basically,
generation where that shit is already like engraved in the genetics?
that would be after you, because I'm not an expert on breeding or anything like that, but that's what you would look for, like things like strain stability. Because some strains are real dominant, like no matter how many times you cross them, it'll always be dominant toward this type of genetic. So
Even if you use it as a
um,
male or female?
yeah, like some buds are just very strong. Like even if you cross them, they're still gonna have the majority trait of some type of bud. Some of them are giving, where they just like mix pretty well, but some of them are dominating. So that's where the phenol hunt would come into play. And you also knowing genetics and like learning from the actual breed, the people who created those breeds would pretty much tell you, hey, this is a dominant genetic. So if you cross something with it, it's going to be dominant over whatever you're crossing it with.
Mm.
So it's going to look more like this plant or taste or smell more like this plant with this mixed into it because this is a dominant type of thing. So you would pretty much you got to know what you're going in with and what you're getting into.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
If you're going blindly, which you could, you never know. You could strike gold, you know, but then you wouldn't have the proof of your search. You wouldn't be able to prove what you did. You wouldn't be able to show anybody anything. You would just say, "Oh, it's just some random," which could go, but I think you would want to have everything written down.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, but I can see how what you said just makes sense. So because like whenever you cross something with like a OG or like a Kush, like people can always they can taste that remnant or feel that remnant or
Yeah,
like that. It's got a little bit of that something
smell.
in it.
Yeah,
So
which
that would
is
make
that's what
sense.
it is. That's what it is now. It's all remnants. To find that OG that we were smoking on back then. Good luck.
Yeah,
Good
no
luck.
kidding,
Someone
right?
has the cut. It's expensive. They're not sharing it. They're keeping it for themselves. It's
Bro,
in
there's
small
so much
circles.
stuff now.
Good luck.
Like I never saw it on the menu. Like I
Yeah,
don't see none of the Star Wars OGs.
yeah.
You
All
don't
those are
see like
cool.
no pre 98
The herb
Bubbas, no
supply.
regular Bubba.
Yeah.
The
Good,
planetary
good.
cushions, nada.
None of that.
Train wreck is probably mixed with something. Always at this point, it's never just itself. Pineapple Express, no. I did have
Sour
some
diesel.
good Pineapple Express out here though. Sour Diesel. The thing about Sour Diesel, I feel though, is like it's actually it depends on where you get it though. But getting seeds is not that hard to source. If you trust
It
where you're
just,
getting it from.
because but the sour diesel we had back then is not what it is now. It's not. Everybody's hunting for it, and the people that do have it, it's going to be pricey.
Mm.
So good luck if you find something good like that. You're in the money.
Yeah, no kidding. And I wonder
Yeah.
when shit gets legalized, if stuff like that will get popularized. Like if the like now that we can like legally search for this shit, it's just like, yo, man, share the genetics. Let's spread that shit.
Well, if it becomes legalized, I think the price would go down, but then holding on to those genetics would be make it more pricey, like not
Also, too,
sharing it.
yeah,
Yeah. Right.
it's like,
Like
damn,
you
man,
can go
just
to
share for the connoisseurs,
you can,
man.
hey, you can always go to the liquor store and get a pack of Marlboro mids, some mids pre-packed in a marble. That's what you're gonna see. Marlboro weed, fucking all
Marlboro weeds,
American,
nah.
fucking, and you're not gonna be able to compete with the price, maybe not even the quality and the amount they can make. Like
It's
we're
just
gonna
gonna be
have to
mass
turn
produced.
into, yeah. So you're gonna if you want to like stick out on that market, you better learn how to grow, and because then it's gonna turn into like the Japanese beef Kobe market. Like there's beef everywhere in America, Australia. There's tons of beef, but you can only get Kobe beef from Kobe, Japan. You
Hmm.
get Mizuyaki beef from Mizuyaki. You can only get it from there, and it's a certain quality that you're gonna pay for.
Yeah,
So I think that's what's gonna stick out in the market is saturated like that.
it's
It's
quality.
gonna be
Oh no, definitely for
it's
sure.
quality,
That's always what is gonna make you stand
rare.
out.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
agreed.
Mhm.
So you said Trainwreck. No, no, no. That was what you said. You said Jack Hair and what was that first plant?
Candy Kush.
Candy Kush Jack. And you said you popped 13.
Yeah,
How many of those were female? Do you remember?
probably like four.
When you pop seeds, do you normally get more female or more males from your batch?
That's like scratching a lottery ticket, bro.
I know,
You
but
get
like just your personal
you,
experience, what do you normally what have you gotten more females or males out of your pops?
I've gotten more females.
All right, that's a good number.
I've gotten way more females. Way
Me
more
too.
like
I think
an
out of all the
insignificant
suits I've
amount.
ever popped, I've only had like two or three that were actually male, and that's because when my seeds are popping, I talk to them all the time. Like, you're such a beautiful girl. You're gonna have some nice nugs and all this shit. I'll be talking to her like it's a girl. Boom, female.
You better be careful. You might fucking harm one of those motherfuckers. Yeah, yeah, it's gonna look like a cute girl and lift up her dress later on. Get a surprise
Nah,
in you.
you look for the
See it,
sacks,
bud.
gotta go off the rip.
Hey, just hash it, just wax it, cut it down, hash it.
That would be the best thing, right? Just fuck it, just
Bro, you don't have to go
trichomes
that way.
or
You
just grow
just
it,
gotta
for food
catch
and
it
shit.
beforehand. But more often than not, that happens because you're stressing the plant out. Because it'll start
Continuous
female and
stress
you
though,
might.
right?
It could be anything. It could be light shock. It could be your electricity going out. It could be sudden like too much food, your
But not
watering
one time
routine.
though, right? It would have to happen more than once, or just off of one shock, it can already do it.
Well, I mean, I
I
think
I
one
always
shock.
understood it that was like multiple,
I think
like if you just keep having irregular
well,
light cycles instead of like if it just happens once, it just happens once. But like if you have that shit happen like 2 times a week, every week during his entire fucking life, then yeah, for sure.
well, just imagine like just like you just like slowly pushing the car over the edge, you know. But once the tip of the car gets to the edge, it's already doing its thing.
That's a wrap. Yeah,
And all you
it's already
and the
formulating
further
that shit.
and the more stresses you're doing, that shit just you know,
Yeah, yeah, I know exactly
it's
what you
just
mean.
it's gonna act all crazy, you know. So I've ran into parts where I'm growing plants, and right before my harvest, I start seeing little male plants. Like what? Because I sometimes I try to like you know saturate the medium with a lot of food, with
Mm,
a lot of carbon, a lot of food, right before I flush. And sometimes it might be too much for it, and they get like going to a little shock, and I'll see little flowers coming out. But by that time, it's too late. It's already chopped down. I chop it down, or I start taking them off one by one if I don't have a lot of plants. If I got like two or three plants, I just search out every little fucking flower and I take them off.
mm,
That's what I've done in the past, to save my buds from being seeded, and
yeah.
it's worked.
Mm.
But that's not something reasonable if you got a lot of plants. Unless you want to sit there like those old ladies back in the days used to be picking their weeds out in the grass one by one. If you want to do that, go ahead.
Mm.
But it's not something that's reasonable. If you're in a big garden, it's not worth it. You
When
just
you
chop that shit down.
when you started
Yeah,
growing, you did a soil first.
yeah. Soil first.
You did your own mix off
Yeah.
the rip, or you used the
No,
premix.
when I first started growing, like as an experience, or first as right here.
Let's say as an experience.
Well, my very first experience was some like Miracle Grow potty mix,
Okay, just some regular shit.
with a 3 month feeding, little beads in it, and shit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That was the first time. But it never grew into anything. It just like sprouted into a seedling, and my mom killed it. Like, get that shit out of here. Nope. Nah, you know exactly what it was. Like,
Yeah.
but before that, my sister would fuck around with my mom and throw seeds. And my mom has plants in her house. She would throw seeds in my mom's plants just to fuck with her. They'd just be popping out. What the fuck? It's like, and sometimes she wouldn't pay attention. They get pretty big, like little 14-inch seedlings in my mom's house. She
Yo,
wouldn't
no,
know for a
no
while.
lie. As a gardener, someone like because I practice like no till gardening type shit, where you just like chop and drop with mulch and shit.
Yeah.
Like
Hell yeah.
cannabis is a great mulch plant, bro, because that shit just grows. It's a fucking weed, bro. You could just chop them bitches up and just it's a great mulch.
Throw it in there.
Hell yeah.
Um, so yeah, with seeds, my mom seeds. What was that before that? Because dude,
The
that
soil.
shit.
Your sister used to throw seeds in there. You say you used to do
Oh yeah,
Miracle
yeah.
Grow.
So yeah, I
So
used to get Miracle Grow
now,
potty mix, and then yeah,
now you make your own mix, right?
yeah, that's the
All
way to
right. If
go.
if you don't mind sharing for the viewers, how do you do your own? Do you mind sharing your ingredients?
Uh, yeah, I don't mind. Most of my ingredients uh are top secret. I'm just kidding. A good way would start would be like do like a sub cool. If you can go online, look up sub cool. You can YouTube
Is
sub
his
cool,
still
and it has.
considered like the top shit even today?
I don't know if it's a top shit, but I know it's some shit
It's a good base.
that it works. It works, and then from there, as you start to learn, and you get a little soul with it, you get a little wisdom from looking at what's happening. You make adjustments.
Mm.
But that you got to remember that super soils and things that I like doing, they're hot. They're considered hot soils.
What is
So
considered a hot
you
soil
can't
for
just
people that don't know?
like soil that has a lot of like different kinds of amendments and different carbons and different was like different foods in there, but it's to the point where if you were to put a seedling in there or something like that small, it would just burn it. It would have no chance of growing,
So would you not
so
recommend people to start their seedlings in
uh,
that?
hell no. So you would, let's say you make your super soil mix, you would have to let that thing sit and let it marinate and let it, the bacteria and the fungus do its thing,
Yeah.
to break all that shit down. And when it's done, that soil is going to be like hyper fertilized.
How
So
long
if
do
you
you
wouldn't
wait
want to put
for?
seedlings in, I would say 6 to 7 weeks. The longer the better, but 6 weeks is the minimum
Is there a
for
too
a hot
long?
soil. Nope,
Okay.
nope.
Is it like fine wine
Because
at this sense? Like the longer the better?
if everything is done working, then if there's nothing in there, there's nothing in there. Eventually bacteria would die out. Eventually, if there's nothing to break down anymore,
Hmm.
eventually the mycelium would have nothing else to break down. Everything would just be complete. That's optimum, but some people don't have time. So 6 weeks, that's what it is. I do longer than 6 weeks. I just let it sit for a whole season, so I know for sure it's done. Like
Actually,
from
I actually
winter to
would like that.
summer.
I would probably do that. I'm the type of person that I don't. I like following nature in that sense. Like I use 3 months as like a base for a lot of shit, and that's a full season
Well,
right there.
yeah, like a full season, 3 to 4 months. You know, just forget about it, and well, that hot soil is still going to be hot.
Mhm. So,
So
what
you
do you
want to put
start your
something that's.
seedlings in?
I start my seedlings in Rockwell,
Rockwool.
Rockwool. Uh huh.
Even the ones
I
that are going to
find
go
a
in the
good
soil, you
seed.
just start them in that still.
Yep. Yep.
So, what do you how long until you transfer them into? Well, do they go into this soil mix once they grow out in the
Yeah, they
rockwool?
do, but they're not seedlings. So I would let them veg. I let them veg for like a good 4 weeks. Three
Good
to four
man.
weeks. So they get it nice
You're
and
looking for
thick,
what,
a
like the
lot of leaves.
5, 6 set of nodes?
So what I'm doing is I grab that small Rockwell cube, that real small, like 1 inch cube, and I put that
Mhm.
in a 4x4 cube,
Oh, okay.
to give the roots some expansion. And once I see the roots popping out of that 4x4 cube, the plant's big and it's probably at least 14 inches, 15 inches. You drop that in there, it's ready to go. It can handle everything. It's going to be ready to absorb that. And that mix is good from the beginning all the way to the very end. And if your plant's big, if it's really big and it's really consuming all that vitamins and nutrients, it'll tell you what it needs at the very end. But for the most part, it's not going to need anything.
You
It's
just
just
give it
going
the
to need
watering
water.
and that's it.
Yeah. Then you have to have a good consistent watering.
Do you on the 14-inch cube? That's what you said it was, a 14-inch
4
cube, right?
four, 4x4.
4 inch, sorry. Um, do you pre-soak that in anything? It like let's say from the 1 inch, 1 inch
No,
to
man.
4 inch, 4 inch. You don't give it no kind of feeding at all. It just gets water that entire time.
No, when it's in the 1 inch cube, I give it just water.
Mm-hmm.
And once I see there's like a lot of root penetration and a lot of root propagation at the bottom of those cubes, then I transfer that over to the 4x4. And once it hits the 4x4, that's when I start feeding it as if it was a normal veg plant.
All right. So for the most part, how long does from seedling to 4x4? What's usually the time frame on that?
Like from as about a month.
And this
That's
is
why I
with
do it.
you putting the seedling already popped, like the seedling
Let's say
you like pre you like you do like a paper towel method to germinate it, or you have it germinate in the rock wool.
no. I just throw them in the Rockwell.
Okay.
I just throw them in there. I don't like playing around with the napkins and all that stuff.
Yeah. So you put it
I don't
straight
have
into the
any
rock
problems.
wool, and
Yeah,
you don't
I
have
just,
no
I just
problem with that shit
throw them in.
germinating in that bitch.
Yeah. You have problems germinating because people would throw the seed in there and not pay attention to the direction that the seed is facing, and
Oh,
then put
okay.
it in there wrong. And so you just got to put it into the right direction and let nature do its thing.
I got you.
And if it pops and it makes it, then it's pretty strong. If it pops and it doesn't make it, I just let nature take its course in that way too.
I'm the same way when I
Not
start
every
my stuff. Even when when I
not,
start my
not every
veggies,
seed
like
is
if that shit
equal.
don't make it, then it wasn't strong enough to make it. If it makes it,
Yeah.
then even with me doing the minimal
There's,
as possible, then it's strong enough. And then if it gets seed, then I know it's gonna be able to tolerate that shit.
yeah, man. I don't want to be like the harbinger of death, but if you're gonna grow food and plants and do gardening, you're gonna have to do a lot of killing too.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Get rid of killing a lot of bugs, a lot of animals, creatures, plants. So you got. That's why I think farming and gardening, you get a lot of good understanding of life and death, and I think that's where you start to cherish your gardening and and the time you spend with your plants.
Oh, for sure. Tomorrow I intend to work on my fruit trees and start propagating some.
There it is.
And then I'm only gonna do a couple just to get a couple started. But then like once I see them like budding out, like once I see like the flowers start opening up when springtime comes, I'm gonna do a
Yep,
big
yep.
ass fucking like pruning harvest. I'm like pruning uh to root the branches and all that stuff. I could sell some plants, sell some fruit trees, and get some started. I want to plant some in the front. I want to plant some for the neighbors, and then sell the rest. Make a little sign. Start making some stuff. Be like the fruit tree guy around here.
There it is.
So
Takes a
um,
little bit, takes a little belief, not that much, man.
nah, not at all. So let's say okay. So once the plant's in the from the 1 inch to the rock wool, because I know herb grows fast as fuck at that point. How long between, on
Yeah.
average, between the 4x4 to you putting it in your super soil mix?
Um.
On average.
So let's say they got the 2 weeks, 2 weeks, about 2.5 months. That's what I like to do. So some people can do the 2 week method. When they can do an exact precise thing, but I'm not in a rush anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I just let everything build. I like to see things build some strength before I transition to the next thing because I know there's stress involved.
Mm-hmm.
There's always some sort of stress when you move something to a new environment or you're introducing roots to something a medium that hasn't been there. And the bacteria from that plant has to grow in that new medium too. So that's a little time consuming.
Mm-hmm.
So I make sure that the plants are like buff. Before I do each transition, the plants are going to be thick and hardy.
So
And that's
you,
just
so it
to,
would be accurate to say that you pretty much do what needs to be done on the plant based on what the plant tells you, as opposed to like a schedule that you have.
yeah, yeah. Because I see that when I work on a schedule, my plants, they're like, they're like copy pasted type. They really don't get a chance to express their personality because I'm like interrupting a natural process because I'm in a rush.
Yeah.
So I learned that like let's say from what I've done is like I'll get a small seedling, like a 12-inch seedling, and I would smell it, right? I'm like, oh, that smells pretty good. And then I'll have another seedling that's like maybe 4 weeks old, and I touch that same. It's the same. It's a clone, so I touch it, and that smells totally different. And then I look at the same clone that's already vegging for a month, 2.5 months. Damn, that shit is really dank. It's really rank. So what I learned to do is I like to wait till the plant gets to a certain area that I like as size, in terms of size, shape, color, and the way it smells, so that I know the outcome. So if I
Size,
want to grow it
shape,
early,
color, smell.
yeah. So
Okay.
you could smell it. But a seedling that's 12 inches does not smell the same as a 2.5 month, 3 months of vegging out.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I like to veg these out until the sex shows. That's how I like to. And then once I see the sex showing, then I'll decide. All right, I'm gonna trim, 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 snip, snip, snip. When I'm throwing in flour,
But you just let it show,
that's when
like, so you determine the sex
I
through the
let it
veg
grow and
stage,
I
just
show.
like little bits of if of
Yeah,
like when you start seeing the pistils somewhat start coming out on the females and stuff.
yeah.
I
Then
know on
they'll
veg stage
automatically
you can
start
kind of
showing
see
their
that
own sex.
sometimes. Yeah, 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 yeah.
You just have to wait. If you wait long enough, you'll see it every time. Just wait long enough, and you'll see they'll display their sex, even though they're in the veg. That's my personal method. It's maybe not, that's just the way I like to do things because Like I'm already growing indoors. I'm already rushing the process.
Yeah.
I'm rushing the a year. So I'm already rushing the process. If I can stretch anything out within that time limit that I have, then I'm gonna do that because from what I'm the results that I'm getting here is like you see, I just smoked the whole blunt. I didn't choke on shit.
Mm.
It's smooth, it's flavorful. I haven't bought any weed since I finished growing this, and I've saved. I can't even tell you how much money I saved already, just by taking my time, doing my studies, and
Mm.
applying what I know.
Yeah. The
That was
longest thing when it
that's
comes to
what.
shit like that, like the longest thing is always that first rotation because you're just waiting. Like, but like once that first rotation is done, then you're always gonna have something consistently. So then it's not so bad. It's always that first. It's just to anybody who's listening. Beginning is always the hardest part. Once you finish that cycle of like you finally get it done and you already had started something, like when you start having that quote unquote compound interest. That's when you can kind of
Yeah,
relax because you're already starting to have stuff work for you while you already got stuff.
yeah. So from my experience, and maybe most people that grow, you start cherry picking at your bud because you can't wait. You might cut it too early.
Oh,
Oh,
for
it looks
sure.
good. It's
The
I
plant's
already did the
talking to
full
you,
8 weeks.
bro.
It looks good. And you're just agreeing with your own your inability to wait. You know.
Yeah.
So
No, I get that 100%.
whenever you think you're gonna trim that plant, dude, wait another week, man. Just wait another week. Be patient, because just go buy some weed, go smoke with somebody. Just wait, you know.
So are you're over your seeds over clones kind of person? Like if you're
No,
starting a plant, your clones
no,
overseas? Or you're
no.
not
If
on
I
that
got in a
either?
fight with you, if I got in a fight with you, I wouldn't pick jujitsu over kickboxing. I'm doing whatever I need to
You
do
do
at that
both.
moment in time.
So you
Yeah,
don't
whatever you need, because I might need to make clones of that seed.
mm,
It's not a pick or choose, but I think if you want a monocrop, go with clones. But personally, I like plants to have that original taproot, which come from seeds.
yeah. That's why I
Yeah,
asked because I know seeds
yeah,
they have different characteristics than clones. So I don't know if you had a
yeah.
preference
I
of
mean,
either
they
or
would be
like you
like,
just fuck with both.
I'm not a hater, I like both. If I know someone has a really good plant and they don't have seeds, I'll take a snippet. Hook me up with a clone. I'll take it.
Yeah,
It's still good. It's still viable. You're still
makes
gonna
sense.
enjoy it. You can have a male plant and still cross it and get something delicious from that. So go with whatever's available. Sometimes seeds are just too expensive because sometimes seeds do cost more than clones. You can get a clone for 25 bucks, but you get the seeds from that same clone for 250, maybe 150, maybe 60 bucks, a lot more.
And it's still fifty
And
fifty. This
time.
is not feminized.
Yeah, if it's not feminized, it's 50-50. And at least from the clone, maybe the grower experienced, what it is, and you can explain what it is a little bit without the mystery. So it's time saving, but just like I said, it just goes how patient you can be when it comes to growing. If the best bud is always grown patiently,
Yeah,
because if you rush things, it's like everything else in life. You can't really rush. You can't really rush anything. You got a lot of life to live, so
yeah.
grow
No, I
old
mean the
slowly.
plant's
Don't
the
try to
plant's an
rush it.
annual plant, right? I mean it takes a
Yeah,
would it be from
you're
spring to
you're
like October, right? So it's really out in nature. It's like a 5 6 month plant in total, not including curing and all that shit.
well. I mean, if you look back at it, it's a lot longer than that in a natural process because it still has to be birthed. So let's say the plant might be done in October. It might be ripe for us to harvest it, but let's say in terms of seeds, it's still growing the seeds. They're still maturing. The plant still has to dry up and drop those seeds. So
Yeah,
you're talking a whole year,
like a full year, like
and then
into
that
November,
process starts
December.
again. And then when the winter rains come in and those early spring rains come in and they sprout the seedlings, and then we go looking through March and April, and we start seeing those plants coming up. Maybe not everywhere, but just from my experience, speaking from what I see, that's pretty much how it goes. Yep.
All right.
What do you got? What do you,
So let's touch on some of the. Excuse me, I'm taking a bong rip. Let's touch on some of the plants you have grown. So, of
all
the
right.
plants that you've grown to date, which has been, let's go backwards. Which has been your most frustrating one to grow? Which one was just like, it just took you a while to kind of figure out? Not that you didn't figure it
The
out, but it
most,
just took you a while to figure out, like, this is what you want. Damn, you should have
all
just said something. Because
right, here it
everybody's got
is.
that plant that's just like, man, what do you want? What do you want?
Mhm. All right, I'm gonna tell you the most frustrating plant that I've never grown.
Okay.
Do you remember Shy? That plant? Remember that plant that I made? We
Yeah,
made
that
that box.
G13. Wasn't it G13?
And it was green
Or Green
crack.
Crack. Green Crack. GC. Yep.
Yeah, and we put the fucking fluorescent bulbs in there, and the computer fan, and I wired it
Yes, I
up,
do
the
remember
aluminum
that.
foil,
I honestly thought that
and
was
all
gonna
that.
be the plant that you was gonna mention. Was that was the first plant? Like, that's the one I
That was the
remember.
that was the first plant that I actually got to like really put some effort in and create an environment for it, and do all the steps we see from High Times magazine and
Yeah,
Cannabis Culture magazine,
George
the free
Cervantes and
magazines
all
we
that
could get.
shit. Yeah,
Oh, yeah. Remember the free, and all those free mags we would get at the clubs,
yeah, no,
and it's something we would buy at that time. But I remember, yeah, George Cervantes was a big influence on me.
mm-hmm.
That DVD, the first George Cervantes DVD and the first book, which I still have.
I got it on
That
PDF.
that
I still got it though.
that was a that man. That's the reason why I knew about using foil. It didn't have Mylar. Fucking foil was the next best thing,
Yeah, for real.
and we did all that in a little box. But
That or white
remember
paint
growing
now.
it. But I remember going through the whole process, and remember he moved.
Mm-hmm.
He moved away. He took the plant with him,
Mm-hmm.
and I was just so desperately trying to get back to that plant to like finish growing it. And by
I
the
do
time I was
remember.
able to get to the plant, he was like, "Hey, it was so good, you know." It was so I was like, "Fuck," like damn. It was just the greatest plant I never got to grow, you know.
I do remember
But
that. And I actually
yeah,
do remember that
and
the whole time.
remember the food. Remember the food for the plant, the nutrients was that little bonsai tree, green nutrients.
Yep.
That shit worked, bro. Like
Yep.
that just tells
I
you how.
remember the
It just
orange
tells you
hairs on it very distinctively.
yeah, green with orange hairs. You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I was just like, it's gonna taste so good, But he
That's why
just
I
took off with that
remember
shit.
it. And
Yeah.
how did y'all come across that plant? That was a clone from a shop?
No, that was just a little seed we found in a bag.
Oh, okay. It was one of those.
Yeah. Yeah, and it just turned out to grow like that. It worked out.
Yeah.
That seed bag sometimes come some of the best weed you ever smoke. That
Yo,
one or
no
two
lie. My
seeds you get out of
buddy,
it.
a lot of times my buddy, when he gets good herb, he hopes he comes across a piece. Most people don't. I don't want to seed on my shit, but nah, he be looking for it. Like, yo, let me get one. And when he comes across one, like, because I taught him how to check seeds, because he didn't know. Like, he would always find a seed, and then he'll be like, "Oh, I got a seed," and I'll look at it and I'll squeeze that shit, and it'll pop, and I'll be like, "Ah, this shit's no good,"
Wow.
and he'd be like, "What the fuck, dude? You broke my shit." And I'm like, "Trust me, that shit wouldn't have done anything anyways." He was like, "How do you know?" I'm like, "You're supposed to squeeze the shit out of that. Like, that's just
Yep.
supposed to hurt your finger, damn near. Like, that's how hard you could squeeze that shit. Like, that's how you know that shit
Hey
is like
man,
great."
you should feel a little bit of pain, when you squeeze a little nice seed.
That's what I'm saying. Like that shit should not be brittle. You should be able to give it some force, and it should be able to survive.
Yeah, a little
And the
bit.
tiger
Yep.
stripes. So
I
he
like
knows now.
those.
Like he came across some seeds, and he showed me there was some San Fernando Valley, and it was like
Ooh.
he's
Wow.
yeah, yeah. It looked pretty good too. So
I mean, this fucking bow I just took. God damn.
oh
Put some of that
Oh, you
fresh
put some of that
smash
on
in there.
there?
Oh, oh shit! I'm
Yeah,
still
let me.
coughing from it. Shit. Oh. Wow,
All right,
that was from the blue jeans right
which
there.
genetic has been the easiest for you to grow?
A blue dream.
Really?
Yeah, blue dream is easy to grow. You can sock that plant, and kick it, it should still grow, man. You can overfeed it. It takes all the food you can give it up to a certain amount, but you can mess up and it will still grow. It's really easy.
I would say, would it be your recommendation for like a beginner grower?
Yep.
If
Yep.
you had to
It
give
gives
top
you
three genetics for a beginner grower that you've experienced with that you
uh
can speak of,
probably
aside from Blue Dream,
uh
you would have two more.
should it be easy?
Yeah, or like the easiest for beginners.
That I've actually grown?
Yeah,
That's the only one I've ever grown that was easy.
the Blue Dream.
Everything else is like all finicky and pretty and 90210 and shit. Like you can't give it too much this. It doesn't want that much water. The roots are short. You're overwatering it. It's too much food. Holy shit.
So each one has
Finding the
its own
balance.
characteristics and that shit.
Every plant is like a horse. It's picky. It has, but some plants are just like workhorses. They just do what they do. They take whatever you give it. Some plants are like that, but you get in yield, you might forgive in taste and terps. The
Hmm.
more yield you get, that's not always the case. Depends on the environment because the genetics are genetics. But the real thing that you're providing as a grower is just the environment. You're providing nutrients, but the real work was done by the breeders. They're the ones that really old. You're just providing an environment, fruits, food, and water.
Yeah,
So you really can't take too much credit. There's always to the breeders out there. Thank you for the work because I that's a lot of work. We just give it water and food. That's what we're doing as growers. So the better environment you can provide is basically the better bud you can get because it's all about genetics in this game. So if you get some really good genetics, I've been fortunate enough to like be in the game long enough to know what's good, what's not, what's cracking, what's hot, what's not. Um, and I've been unfortunate enough to always pick strains that are really hard to grow because this is what I like.
mm,
Or not that they're hard, that some people give up when you're like, hey, this is a 14-week strain.
mm.
My peanut butter is I got a 14-week right here. I'm gonna show you guys a little bit what 14 weeks look like, in a plant, and that's where patience comes into play. So, um, shit, losing my train of thought again.
No, you're good. Next question.
Oh yeah,
Which
yeah.
plant has so far has given you your highest yield?
Blue Dream again.
Damn. Do you remember how much?
Gigantic. Total dry weight, I got like 2 pounds for my 8 plants. Plus some
Like
change, a bunch of nugs here and there, but about 2 pounds.
like the popcorn nugs?
Gigantic nugs,
No, I mean
like the size of
the little stuff you was talking about,
oh
like little
yeah,
popcorn nugs.
yeah. Popcorn nugs, little like
Do you remember the weight of your main cola? The heaviest main cola you had?
shit. No, I didn't. It was so big I couldn't even scale it. You know, so I just had to break them all down. I had to break them down so they could fit in my container.
Hmm.
But I have some pictures that I can post up for you to see. Yeah, I think that a lot of my pictures are probably already on the internet.
On Instagram?
But the blue, yeah, yeah. So the Blue Dream really is a really good producer, and overall has a good flavor profile. And if you're a beginner grower, I would definitely recommend some Blue Dream because you're gonna get a good return. You can't really mess up, and it's a really strong plant. So it's just a good way to go.
That's
If
sativa
you're going that route.
dominant, right? Or is full sativa?
It's a 50-50. It's
Super
Super
Haze.
Silver Haze crossed with the DJ Short Blueberry Kush.
Oh, okay.
So it has like a fruity tone to it, but it's like really it's piney with it's a piney earthy with fruity tone. So
It sounds
it's
like a bomb ass joint.
man, you seen that blunt I was smoking earlier?
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah, bro. And the weird thing about it is like I used to go to the shops and buy all kinds of shit and the shops that I would go to, it was always like some kind of fucking well, I'm not hating, but some kind of like greenhouse or it's always some kind of light depth. Um, it was never like what we used to get at the shops back then. Like shit, you can smell through containers and stuff. Now nothing's sticky, nothing
Really?
stinks, nothing reeks, bro. Like only if you go to the boutique shops, you Jungle Boys, you hit up your good shop, 710 Labs. Those things, they got some fire. But you're gonna pay a ticket for it. But if your normal shop around town, China Pack Depths, and they try to sell it to you as if they're doing indoor prices.
Yeah.
So I got tired of it. I'm like, damn, I buy all this bud. I'm not getting medicated. I'm spending all kind of money. It's not
Yeah.
worth it. So that's why I'm just gonna grow my own shit. And if you really want some good bud, you just gotta grow it, or you're gonna pay top dollar for it.
Mm.
So yeah, yeah, just grow your own stuff. It's the best way to go. You know what's in it. I'm not worried about pesticides. I'm not worried about any crazy things. Everything in my plant is organic, so I know what I'm smoking. I don't have to worry about what I'm coughing up. You
Mm.
know. So it's like it brings me a little bit more comfort too, and it saves me a lot of money if you do smoke a lot. It saves a lot of money. So take the steps you need to be a little successful in that area if you want to save money and if you're into holistic shit, you want to make your own medicine or be self-sufficient. This is a good way of doing it. It's a good way of supporting yourself too.
Mm.
Mhm.
That's what's up. All right, let's see. Best tasting herb that you've grown.
Oh man. So far the best tasting herb I've grown is a peanut butter. I wish I could just show it to you, but it's my peanut butter number 3 and my peanut butter number 4. And those were crossed with a natural selection with like 7 other fathered plants that I don't know who's the daddy. It's like a Murray show.
Mhm.
So there's 7 potential fathers, and those are all award-winning genetics. They were crossed with a peanut butter breath. So it's like a gassy permanent marker type soy saucy kick,
God
rubber band,
damn.
burn rubber. And it's really strong. It's really sedative, and those things are so purple, green. It's ridiculous. The plant I'm gonna show you is so purple. It's burgundy. It's like
Damn.
no green left on it.
That's what I
Yeah.
was gonna ask you if you had some purple plants. 'Cause I didn't know that one was purple.
Oh, it's beyond purple, bro. It's beyond purple. It's like black. I'm trying to
Mm,
show you, it's black. No, it's literally black.
that's crazy.
Yeah. So I don't know what the cross was on that because all the other brothers, all the other sisters of that plant, they were all green, purple, fruity, tropical color. That's the only one that came out like that black color.
Mhm.
I've never seen anything so black like that. Literally, like I've never seen black plant.
How'd you come across that genetic?
I bought it from Masonic Seed Company.
Gotcha.
Uh, yeah, so you go to Masonic Seed Co. I think you could just Google that. He gives out a lot of award-winning strains to your everyday person. So you don't really have to worry about paying too much money with that guy. He like takes care of the people.
Mm.
You can get good seeds for 50 to 60 bucks. Like just because you're paying 60 bucks doesn't mean you're getting $60 of seeds, bro. He just hooking you up.
Mhm.
So pay him a visit. Masonic Seed Co. Never let you down. All his strains are like for making wax and making hash and concentrate, so they have a good
Oh, so they got
return
a
if you're
high
making.
resin content and shit.
Yeah, so Mr. Sticky Fingers, me trying to put the sticky back in the icky, so trying to
Is that
bring
how the
some
name came
sticky bud
about?
back to, yeah, putting the sticky back in icky, bro,
That's what's up.
because I just got tired of buying bud and just like
The dry and
salt,
brittle.
like some dry ass salt, like not brittle, just like no grease, like no resin, nothing, no like nothing on your fingers. Like, remember we used to break up bud and it took two people? Like, I had to break up the bud and you had to roll it because my fingers are too sticky. There
Yeah,
was no way to
yeah.
do it without ripping it up. What happened to that? What happened to the shit? Like,
Yo,
why is it
that's gonna be a fucking YouTube short right there.
what
What
happened,
happened
bro?
to that shit?
What happened to the damn that everybody knew you had an ounce in your pocket from the fucking block? Like, whoa. Fucking dead animal around this bitch? No, it's this guy right here. That's just gone. You look at weed, you gotta stick that shit in your nostrils and just and pray you smell something in that shit, bro. Really, really,
Damn.
that's what you're led to. And then you're paying. People are getting ripped off. There's inflation, but damn, weed inflation too. Now you're paying 45, $50 for some fucking light dep lemon cherry gelato garbage, China pack, mass produced, not even from Taiwan, China, garbage, garbage, and you're smoking it. Like, just might as well stop smoking weed and just go smoke some cigarettes at that point, because at least the quality is still the same.
Cheaper.
Quality took a hit, bro. Quality took a hit. Everybody just give me more, give me some more, give me some more. Busta Rhymes, give me some more. And now it's like, all right, you can't wait. They can't wait. So it's 8 weekers. Those are 8 weekers. They're
You know, it's
not
it's funny you
just
say that because
sorry.
I was watching a podcast. The ones that I tell you I watch of that dude named Dope Yola, and he
Yeah.
had a
Oh
guest
yeah.
on
Yeah. I
there,
like the
some dude named Burner, who's a rapper, and
Oh
he's the
yeah. I
dude
know Burner.
that
Who
owns
doesn't know
cookies.
Burner?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Who doesn't know Burner? Yeah. Who
yeah, so
doesn't?
he talks about
Yeah. Burner. Yeah. Yeah.
he like they was asking they I think they had asked him a question of like if his daughter smokes or if his daughter knows he smokes, and then essentially the conversation kind of geared towards like the fact that kind of like what you're touching on, like there is no bomb herb anymore. Like that's why he tries to focus a lot on like genetics and quality, because like what he sees now, there is no quality out there, not really. Like, and like he's trying to somewhat
Yeah.
keep that on the map. So like, because he was thinking about like, damn, like when my kid is when my kid is an adult, I want her generation to still have some bomb herb, or to at least look at my company and be like, damn, we can at least still get some bomb from cookies. They still gonna have some bomb genetics. Uh,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
the
I
fact
know.
that you're kind of saying the same thing, I guess it has, because to me, I still remember California when it was bomb. Like I left in 2012. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah. Yeah.
the
It
shit was
felt
still
like it.
popping
It
when
was
I
like
left.
yeah. It was
But like for
OG
you
good.
talking about it
Like
like
I
that,
said,
like
fire.
that shit sounds tough.
So that's my little mission goal. My statement is, trying to bring back bud that I remember smoking, and having the privilege to smoke with older people back then who are probably dead now. Like the last of the hippie people, and got to smoke some of their weed and taste some of the flavors of incense and like Thai chocolate, like stuff that you'd be lucky to come across something that's good like that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
The grown, who knows how they grew it? Who knows? That's like a lost art. You got to rediscover. Because a lot of the bud that we were growing was coming from up. We were smoking was coming from up north,
Yeah,
and like
like
a lot of
the
those
that
people
Emerald County kind of area.
got all that Emerald Triangle, up north. That's where it was coming from. Some good sun grown outdoor OG. We were smoking some really good mountain grown um, buds, and then market started changing. different started changing and it stopped being from co-ops, you know, and now it's like more of a business type thing. And a lot of those people got put out of business. And that's why we don't see the good bud anymore because a lot of those things were like family owned farms
Mm-hmm.
for like generation on generation, technique passed upon technique, strain passed down. And now they just been shut out of like their own business that they created. Like they created the culture that now they got kicked out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're like here looking like, damn, constantly going to the shops, trying to buy their top shelf, looking for some sort of either recreational satisfaction or medication satisfaction. And now you go to some shops and they have lists for recreational and they have lists for medication. You know what I mean? So like there's a divide now, but that divide is like you being racist to me, man. I can't get that bud because I don't have a medical card or whatnot, and I have to pay more money because I'm having fun with it. I understand, you know, but damn, you know, it should be equal across all lines. Like, why restrict a good medical grade bud that might be recreationally useful and vice versa?
Yeah, for real.
But there's always going to be gates when there's money involved because now there's money involved. Before co-ops, remember going to the spots and you'd be able to talk to the owners, and it was like this character guy that's been growing for. I've been growing for 35 years, and my
Yeah,
dad
it was
before
like a
that.
chill spot. It was like a homies, like for real.
You just remember going. I remember going to those first shops, and it was just like, "Hey, come on in. We don't give a fuck if you're not gonna buy anything. Here's fucking bud. Here's a pre roll. Here's a smoke a fucking dab. What's a dab? What's that? Like, blow your fainting. People falling down. Boom. Standing in line watching people hit the floor, never hit a dab in their life. Didn't know what it was. Shiva crystals, what's that? You know, when you're and that culture that came with cannabis that made it fun for us in the past, I want to bring it back. Like the way it felt to go into the shop and they're burning incense and they got the little temples and water going and all that stuff. It might seem corny, but it provided an environment to make it seem like smoking marijuana wasn't just fucking um, like smoking a cigarette. It's like something mystical that you're gonna have an experience and you're gonna learn something. That's how I took it when we used to go into the shops and
Mm-hmm.
certain shops just gave that environment like, wow, this bud here has got to be special, and it was at that time. It was like a magical moment. That's where I think I learned most of my life. Was sitting down and observing all my mistakes, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But now it just seems like as a customer, and as a patient, it sucks for both worlds right now because, not as a patient because you're getting better deals, but for the people who don't have the privilege of being able to go through the process of knowing that they can that they are patients, they get cut out of that window. So I want to blur the line where medicine can be available in the recreational market without having to jack a price up or ask for a special club membership
Mm-hmm.
because when I go to some spots, they have medical and they have recreational, and I feel like that's like a form of segregation, a pointless war, but it's
I didn't
a
even know
pointless
they do
war,
that
but
at
it's
shops
there,
now.
It's there. I'm not gonna change the world, but I can change my environment in my local neighborhood to offer them some good medicine that I know is better than what's out here in these little shops around town.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just my little mission. It's just to bring back the experiences that we had when we were younger and make some money while I'm doing it and have some fun, in the process.
Yeah,
So,
that's what's up.
yeah, yeah. That's my little mission statement
I
for the
like to
for
I
the
like to
company.
bring in the sticky back in the icky. I didn't know that's what it was, but that's I could
Yeah,
definitely get behind
bringing
that
that
because
sticky
I
back
like even where I'm
bringing
at,
the icky
you
back and sticky.
because let's be real, everything in the states comes from California, like 80 or 90% of it. So like we see the quality. It takes a while for us to get it, but you see the difference
Yeah,
over here too over time too. Like, damn, like what is this? Like, bro, this is what I'm getting. Like from where? Same guy. Like like wow, like shit's just everywhere's just taking a hit. But it all starts from there. Like
Yeah.
that's California is usually the source for all the herb out here. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, and there's a lot of grassroots companies, a lot of people that are trying to do the same thing as me. I'm not doing anything special or unique. I'm just trying to push the wheel that's already rolling.
Hmm.
So
No, but
it's
we
easier to
get we get
catch
you
it's
heard over
easier to
here.
catch a wave than it's huh?
I said we get you heard over
Going
here.
through.
Once this podcast starts popping, everybody gonna know what's up with your
Mhm.
shit.
Yeah, man. It's not really my shit. I think it's more of an idea that more of an idea. Because we're living in a time where the past is going to be forgotten very easily, and the future is going to be kind of crazy without it. No guidance.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe if I can leave some sort of a little bit in the culture, uh, to contribute to the culture a little bit, as opposed to just selling bud.
Yeah.
To leave a little mark and a little change in it, just maybe steer it in a way where there's always gonna be folks that just want to buy bud to feel high, or people that smoke to deal with whatever, or people that smoke to deal with mental issues, because that's my thing. It helped me with calm my mind down. Um, I just don't want those. I just don't want those things to to be forgotten,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to just looking cool to smoke or just being bougie and showing off to people that don't have anything. When marijuana shouldn't be like that, because
Yeah.
it's just a fucking weed. Like anybody should be growing it if you need it, but it shouldn't be exclusive. It shouldn't be exclusive. I think it should be shared, and it should be like nobody owns it.
Mm-hmm.
So like the market right now is steered toward like purple, and some fruity smelling shit. Like what about all the other shit that started it? And that's gonna be forgotten. Just like the buds in the '70s and stuff. We don't have access to that shit no more. It's gone.
Mm-hmm.
But we gotta like kind of preserve what started it. And I wasn't around when it started, but I was around, the Kush age. I got to see the Kush age, the end of the chronic age. I got to see that, and from chronic into that whole generation after that. I don't think that should be forgotten, because that's just like when I see people smoking, I'm like, bro, this does not have the same atmosphere. You guys are missing out on a whole energy that's just not here anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because you're I don't know. I mean, you're smoking some really fruity ass stuff that tastes like lemon tarts, and it's more of a sensational thing than it is an experience.
Mm-hmm.
What does it smell like? What does it do? But what about the effects afterward? Nobody cares if it's gonna help you. No one, they don't care if it's gonna heal you. They just want to feel dopey and you know have an image to uphold. And I don't think marijuana is about image. I don't think it's about image. I think more it's about developing culture and inviting new ideas into the culture that don't tarnish what helped develop it in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
That's really like a goal that I have, and that goal is also for my kids to they have this idea that they're gonna be able to see and they're gonna be able to remember me by that. So that's something else too. Like this is who I am. For as long as you know me, this is what I've been doing.
Mm-hmm.
So whether smoking it, selling it, growing it, drawing it, looking at magazines, for as long as we can both remember, you know. So why not build on something that I can support my family, maybe buy a house with, and when I'm long gone, that little business is like, hey, this culture that we're selling you, this is what my dad taught us. This is what he remembered from his time, and we don't want that to die. So that you want to inject that into the culture. So there's always like like just like a stepping stone back to the hippies and a stepping stone back to the old jazz players and musicians and like
Mm,
people that I learned from and people that they learned from and that so on and so on, like rolling joints, like how we teach like younger dudes how to roll joints and like I don't want that to die because everybody's just like, how do you roll joints? Just Google it. But the fucking transfer of
yeah, the
the
passing
wisdom
down
is
from
done.
generation to generation
It's
type of
done.
shit.
It's done. It's like you just cut it off.
Mm,
No, no more little. Everything's gonna become standardized. Everybody's gonna roll it the same, and it's that individuality that could be there might be wiped out, except for the individual. But everybody's learning from Google. Every blunt's gonna be the same. It's
mm,
gonna be sealed with the same shit. It's gonna be rolled with the same wrap because it was preferred by Google. It's the best flavor. Like what happened to being
preference.
yourself and doing something unique and adding to the culture as opposed to just consuming it and like stripping things down until they're bare minimum till there's nothing left, you know, as opposed to just continue adding on,
Mm.
you know. So like they're stripping the nutrients of the culture until there's nothing left. When they look back at it, all they're gonna have is lemon cherry gelato. That's it. All those other genetics that people work for that help you get lemon cherry gelato, they're gone. Everything's gonna taste the same. Everything's gonna be purple, and that's it. Who wants to smoke weed anymore?
Yeah,
Culture's dead. You
that's
you
true.
killed the plant, and you killed the idea of like like just go look at a fucking like a fucking weed tournament. Everything's gelato. That I'm not hating on it. You know,
It's just
let
an
everything do its
observation.
thing. It's just an observation that like you put an OG Kush in a competition, they're just gonna go right up. Uh, that's not gonna win.
Mm,
You know, they weren't around for the most 9 times out of 10, maybe 8 out of 10. That person wasn't around for that ride, bro. They weren't around for that killer Kush. They weren't around for the master, you know, OG bubbles. But fire, like they're really good shit, mountain grown. You know, really good indoor, expensive. People that grew with a passion because they had to hide. We had to
mm.
hide. You know, everything was done in secret, so you wanted to be known. You wanted to build recognition for your butt, so you did the most to have the best. Now there's just little circles that have the good shit, and good luck, boy. You're not getting it. You're not part of the club. You're not part of the circle. You're never gonna taste this. You're never gonna get it, and that's what I want to kind of slow down. You
Yeah, I
know,
don't like
to the
that. I
point
never
where
like when like if you
you
got the
know,
best shit, why not share the best shit? Like what benefit is there from just keeping it to yourself? Like ultimately in the long run, like nothing. Like once you're gone, it didn't benefit you and now it's gone if you told nobody about it.
yeah, yeah. So passing of the torch, you know,
Yeah, agreed.
there's
I
like
get you on that.
that's basically what it is. Like a handing down of some sort of culture, some sort of knowledge. It might seem useless. It might seem, but for some people that need it, it might seem helpful. You know, it might seem useless to an engineer or a teacher or something like that. But go tell the guy that has voices in his head, and as soon as he smokes, you don't hear him no more.
Mm,
Or go tell the dude that's got ADHD or ADD or whatever symptoms ail you. You're stressed out. You're depressed. Who knows? You know. And if it helps that individual, you know, who are we to say what it's going to do for certain people? You know, so I just
yeah.
want to be able to like save that, you know, and preserve that. Uh, it's something easy to do, you
Yeah,
know.
no.
So
That's pretty dope though. I like that. So something actually came to my mind as you were actually expressing this idea and all that is, which I think would actually be pretty tight because I'm pretty sure that some of the people that are listening to this are not from our generation, or when they finally do listen to this, or whomever, when they're gonna be the young generation. Which now, me being 34, you're what 38 right now. Like, bro, we're at a point in our lives right now where like talking to the young people hurts. Like, how do you not know this is becoming a very like prominent sentence in my life? You know what I mean? Like, what you mean you don't know this song? Like, how do you not know this artist? Like, bruh, like, how old are you? Like, I'm 20 something. Get the fuck away from me. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, like, in the essence of trying to preserve the past, as we were just talking about, name off some bomb ass OG herb from back in the day.
Oh man,
All
I
right, I know
remember.
we got the pre 98 Bubba. I remember that because of Abel. R.I.P.
Yeah, the pre-98 Bubba, Pure Kush. I remember. Oh,
Here,
obviously
Kush.
the many different strains of OG Kushes that were out there.
The Yoda
Uh,
OG.
that one of the OGs, one
I
of
grew
the
the
old
Skywalker
OGs.
OG. Skywalker's OG is actually one of the few plants I actually grew. I actually grew from clone all the way to
Yeah,
harvest, and it's still to date one of the best shit I ever smoked. Was it the best
that's great.
potency? I don't know, but because I grew it myself all the way to the end, rolled the little joint. This when I
Yeah,
was in Palmdale,
yeah.
had the little hammock, just rolled the little joint, took a little nap right after. It was great. And I actually re-vegged that plant after harvest. I left a little nug and I brought it back just to kind of
Yeah.
experiment with it, and it actually came back to vegging, and I was like, oh, okay, dope. I can do this with this.
Yeah.
So it was pretty
Sometimes,
good.
and that term for that is called regeneration.
Regen.
After you do that, according to the book,
Hmm.
it says
I always called it
regeneration. But
re-veg in my head.
veg works for me. That's what I say. But um,
Old
they say
strains.
sometimes the potent isn't the potency isn't there. It kind of loses potency after that.
Yeah, I have heard that. I never got to harvest it after that. I ended up leaving it outside and the cold weather got to it. But
Oh shit.
um so I never got to test that theory out for myself. But going back to the classic trains, the kryptonite, that's what we got from the hippies,
Oh
was it
yeah,
not?
dude. Remember that at the beach?
That shit was
Man, that was
fire.
something like, ooh,
Between
wow,
like
that one joint,
7 heads,
man,
8 heads. That shit was a
it
lot.
was one of the best. Remember what we had to go through to get that shit?
Hmm.
God damn.
That
Fuck.
drum circle was dope.
Venice Beach. Yeah,
I've
we
never been
actually
to
got
one
down on that
since.
one.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, me either. I haven't gone to one since. I don't see a reason to go to another one.
Yeah, I had never gone to one prior, and I've never gone to one since. Like that experience
Yeah,
that it was, shit was
it,
tight.
it
Meeting the
was tight.
hippies,
It was
trying to
tight.
find Ian
Yeah.
because Ian showed up
Venice
late
Beach
as
is not,
fuck.
and it's not gonna be like that anymore, man. Venice Beach is not like that anymore.
I know. I've heard it got pretty rough.
Yeah, so
Mhm.
we got it while the getting was good, man.
Yeah, we
And
did.
that's like Venice Beach a bomb shop. That's like that's something else to think about preserving. That's like everybody's first bong. Go get your first piece from Venice Beach, and
My first bong is from Venice.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah, I still have it
that
to date.
tradition, that tradition is being killed by ordering bongs online. Nobody wants to actually go out there and shop. Turtle box,
I gotta hold the glass in my hand. Is this shit brittle or not? You gotta hold that shit to feel to know.
Yeah, you got to do some examination, but who cares about quality anymore? Timu, nigga, Timu, bong, fuck it,
That's crazy.
But
They sell bongs
that's
there.
why you teach the next generation so they don't get caught up in
The bullshit.
reversing themselves into buying acrylic bongs again with aluminum bowls and shit. Like returning back to that aluminum bowls, fucking plastic, little PVC pipe type bongs and shit.
I came into it
Going
right on
backwards.
time. I came into it right on because I can. My first blunt was a Captain Kush blunt. My first smoke was Captain Kush when we were over there at
I
Ian's
remember that
cousin's
Captain
house.
Kush. Yeah, Dean's the Captain Kush. Yeah, I remember that.
Yep, and with Nardo, it was our first time chief in there.
Yeah, I remember the first time we went over there.
Yep, it
Yeah,
was
it
fucking
was like set up. It was like set up that you guys are gonna smoke today first time.
yeah,
Like
yeah. Like it was gonna be
yeah,
the fucking New Year's 2007. We smoked. that captain could. And that's the thing, like at that point, the people that I knew that had already achieved their first shit was some Stribo shit that gave them a fucking headache, shit that was brown, had seeds in it,
Yeah,
stems. Like I came into it with like people that were 4 years older than me, smoked bomb, like
yeah,
they were already in the game. They took care of us. Like, for it being our first time, y'all could have easily just had y'all phones with us and y'all didn't. Y'all just took care of us at Dean's house. I remember I always remember this story. Like there was an Asian dude that was there. Don't remember his name. But
an Asian dude.
yeah, or at least he looked Asian to me. I remember he had a hat on. And I remember he was looking at me and Nardo laughing because we had the giggles because it was our first time, right? And we were fucking cracking up by like the food table, right? And then we
Yeah,
noticed that guy watching us, right? And I remember I went up to him and I asked him like, I was like, "Hey man, I'm sorry if we're making you uncomfortable, like, because we're just laughing so much and shit like that, because me and Nardo realized like, yo, are we laughing a lot?" It was like, yeah, we are. But it was our first time. Like, but when I came up to the guy and I told him, like, I was just like, my bad if, we're kind of ruling the moment. He was actually like, nah, man, honestly, it's been so long since I've been around somebody who smoked for the first time. Like, I'm actually enjoying watching you guys smoke. Like, I haven't seen somebody have the giggles in like years. So, like,
yeah,
I
dude.
was actually kind of giving him a nostalgic feeling as opposed to making him feel like uncomfortable or just like annoying him from that shit. That shit smells bomb.
Yeah, oh, yeah, yeah, bro, it's fire.
That's the blue dream.
Yeah, I figured it out. I got it down now.
That's the blue dream.
I got it down. Yeah,
Which genetic is that?
this is the Blue Dream Nugs. Too bad you can't see the detail in it, but
Nah, not yet.
I'll send some pictures. I'll put it on my profile if you guys want to check them out. They'll be right there
Tell them
in
just tag the
detail.
podcast and they'll know which one you're talking about.
Most definitely, if you guys want to check some HD out, HD shots out, I got them. Canon, nothing special, but you can see, zoom in.
Yep.
It's really
I
good.
follow
The
him on
water
my
looks so
page
good.
as well. So if you guys want to check out my following, he'll also be there, Mr. Sticky Fingers. And his wife, Miss
Yeah,
Sticky Fingers.
yeah, that's right. If you guys need any bond cleaners, any bond cleaner, any kind of pipe cleaner, let me know. If you need any kind of seeds, let me know. I'm affiliate with I Love Growing Marijuana, and you get a discount. Use my card. So,
Oh, that's what's up. You
let
legit
me
got like
know.
an affiliate program with them now?
Uh huh. Uh huh.
That's what's
Uh huh.
up.
Yeah, they actually invited me to it. So they were following my grow, and pretty cool guy. He's a really cool guy, man.
That's what's
Yeah,
up.
he's a pretty good guy. You guys check him out. I love growing marijuana.com. Um, a lot of good seeds for beginners, experts.
Had you
Check him
known
out,
about
man.
him prior to me mentioning him to you?
Nope,
Okay.
nope,
And
nope.
I just came
Oh
across them on
shit.
the random. Like I was just looking
All
at their
right.
genetics and I just liked their little seed packs that they had, five each.
Yeah,
Price seemed reasonable.
it was pretty cool, man. He just sent us $200 to buy a bunch of seeds out of nowhere. Like, hey, just buy them and share your progress and have a nice day.
What'd you get?
So, oh, I ended up getting it's called a United States pack. Got to represent.
I remember that.
So it's basically, yeah. What is it?
Ah,
They
fuck.
all got,
Does
they
that one
all,
have
they, they all,
AK-47?
nope.
USA pack.
States, United States
The
pack. So,
NYC Diesel, LA Confidential.
and next place in America, not in America, but part of it.
Uh, fuck. I can't remember the third one. But those were
All
I
right,
remember
it's
NYC.
the, all right, how about this? A riddle. It's the one mixed with dog shit and Cheech and Chong.
You say dog shit for some reason. Immediately I think of Cam Dog just because dog
No,
and
Cheech
dog
and Chong.
shit.
It's mostly what, but it's mixed with Labrador. Well, it's a real old strain, back in the days.
Yeah. Wow. I
You give
can't.
up?
Yeah, I do give up. But I remember what scene you're talking about.
It's the Maui Wowie.
The Maui. Wow, I wouldn't have got that. 100%. I wouldn't have got that. But I do remember that
That's
being part of the pack,
cool.
though. I'm glad they still got that pack.
Yeah, pretty good. Not bad. I just give them a shot, you know. I
Mm,
have my own genetics too, but the free seeds, you can't go wrong.
yeah, no, not at all.
Why not? Why are you gonna say no? Just take some pictures, do some shout outs, tag a little bit. You're
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
All right, so I'm still trying to go back to these old genetics back in the day because I really don't want these to get
Yeah,
lost.
yeah. Because every time we bring one up, we keep talking
Yeah,
about the
there's a
adventure
it's because
behind
there's
it.
a
Yeah,
story associated to everyone, 100%.
yeah.
Like
So
when you mentioned your first plant from your first plant that you tried from a shop, you said was train right?
yeah, that was
Yeah,
the very
mine
first one from.
mine was blue cheese.
Oh, blue cheese.
Yep.
Damn, yeah.
And you went with me to go
Can't
get
find
it.
that. Can't find anymore. Can't find that anymore.
And that smelled like cheese, tastes like cheese.
You
Like that shit
remember
had
it had
your
that
mouth just like if there was any
yeah.
herb that got you super fucking cotton mouth, blue cheese. I could just
do you
like,
remember? Do you
god
remember
damn,
Marvin? Marvin, you
Marvin,
remember Marvin, the good
Marvin,
friend
Marvin,
Marvin?
Superman chest Marvin, bomb ass mom
Yeah,
Marvin.
Superman too.
Yeah,
Yeah. Hondo Core with nitrous run away from the cops
yeah,
in helicopters.
yes, yes, I
Yeah.
remember Marvin.
Okay. That guy. He used to get the real bad case of cottonmouth back in the days. Like bad. It would get so bad that he wouldn't notice, right? And he just get it. He'd walk up to me and, hey, bro, you want to go to the store and get some Arizonas? And his lips would get stuck to the top of his teeth, and he'll start looking like a skeleton talking to me, bro. I'd start busting up in his face, bro. Like, damn, your shit's dry as fuck. No wonder you want some Arizonas, man. This is dry, bro.
Marijuana, Marijuana's an old one I remember.
Oh yeah, Marijuana's a good one too. I remember that one.
God's Gift was
Um,
one of my buddy's favorite. I remember God's Gift
I,
looking really nice.
I remember. Do you remember going to the shop called God's Gift?
I do. Was it in
Yeah,
was it in Marina?
and that's the place that had the God's Gift over here. Yeah,
Was it in Marina Del
they had
Rey
all
or
the
like somewhere
flavors.
by the beach, PCB, somewhere out there, somewhere by the water?
It maybe I don't remember exactly where it was at.
I want to say it because my
I just
buddy
know.
Greg, I used to when I had my medical card,
Uh,
I used to go there and get it for him, or at least I went to a shop that used to have it, and I remember it was out there. I remember all the
um,
OGs, the White Rhino, the White
oh,
Widow.
White Widow. What other ones
White
were
Widow, I
back
can never
then?
forget. That was my first 420 herb.
White Widow. Well, I don't really can't recall too many names off the top of my head because they were just all ridiculous, like Superman OG and Obama OG and
I didn't remember. I think I started leaving when the Obama started coming out. I started leaving when there was like the King Louis started coming
oh yeah,
out. I left.
King Louis the 13th. Remember going to the King Louis collective over there?
Yeah,
It was called King Louis, and they
I
had
remember
all
that.
like three or four different types of King Louis. It was great.
Hey, the San Fernando
Um,
Valley OG. At some
San
point, the
Fernando
San
Valley.
Fernando Valley was like top. I remember when that shit was like top when you would come across that. Then you
Yeah.
had your planetaries, your Jupiter Cushes, your Saturn, your Mars.
And then they were selling $100 OG for $100 an eighth. That was ridiculous.
I remember they were doing like
Um,
$40 grams of some like concentrate for some of those cushions. Like fuck that.
yeah.
No, thank you.
Well, yeah, we didn't even fuck with the concentrates that much back then, but
Nope.
that was like BHO. BHO was coming out like hot. It was everywhere around that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, BHO,
We just fucked
and
with
we
Keith
weren't just
and like look I feel like I dealt more so with that shit because of Andy and Abel because they fucked with that
yeah,
shit.
yeah,
Like one of my
and
nastier
Hash
bowls I
too.
ever remember was uh when we had got back from Puerto Rico and me, you,
Uh-huh.
and Andy went to go chief at some dude's house that he had a dog named Dodger. You remember that
Oh,
guy?
you remember? Oh shit, yeah, that was yeah.
Yeah, and we went to go chief there because I remember Andy
Dodger
packed
the
me a
dog.
fucking crazy bowl, dude. It was some kind of kush with some keef and then like a pancake. You made the pancake hash.
Yeah. Facts, nigga.
And that shit was
Yeah.
on there, bro. I remember taking the rip and like, cause he had like this guy's house that we were at. He had like bar stools in the garage to sit on, and I
Yeah, in
remember
the
I almost
garage,
fell off that bitch because I almost fell asleep. Like I was just like I dozed off, and I just remember catching myself like oh, like some Inception shit. Like I
yeah.
just felt myself falling. Like oh
Now,
shit, I
now
need to get the fuck up.
that weed that we were smoking, that was Bubba Kush, because that's what we were selling at that time.
The Bubba, yeah, bruh.
Allegedly. Yeah, that's what we were allegedly selling at that
Allegedly,
time. Yeah, allegedly.
that shit.
That's what we were moving around. And that guy is who we were getting it from. Allegedly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
So
just
we
remember
were
because he
there
used to live by he was by like Cecilio's neighborhood because he was like by the old Nissan building.
in the back, yeah, in the cut.
Kinda, yeah,
But he was a
yeah.
really good guy. He was a really good guy. And I remember he was
I,
like, remember 2008, the crisis, everybody was losing their houses. That guy's monthly mortgage went from like three something to like 5 racks. They're like, you got to pay the 5 racks or you're going to lose your house. And he's like, man, all I got this motorcycle. I don't know what to do. He was giving up. And then, me thinking I could save people. I was like, hey, bro, you could just part this shit out and sell it. Fuck it. He's like, what? Like, part it out. Fucking sell it. Sell your bike. That fool parted it out. He made enough money to save his house, bro. And ever since then, he was one of the good part in his heart for me.
mm.
Always look out for me. He even let it. Were you there when we smoked that Indian peace pipe with the fucking the deer horn as the bowl, and it had a snapping turtle head and all
I
these
want to say
feathers?
yes.
Yeah,
Something
we
about that
were
sounds
there. We
very fucking
smoked it that day.
familiar.
He let us smoke it that day, bro. Only the inner circle got to smoke the real peace pipe, bro. That was an actual real old ass peace pipe from his family.
Yeah, damn. I vaguely remember that shit, but I
You were
do.
there. I think you were there. Yeah.
Damn, that's
It was
crazy.
like an Indian. Yeah, yeah. He used to get Dodger, like, allegedly, he used to put smoke in Dodger's nose, remember?
I do remember that. He used to like cup him or something like that. And just like
Yeah, but that dog used to like that shit.
he did.
Like, come on, Dodger, come get. He'd come right up to you and do it. We want you to do it too.
My dog,
But that's
when
what.
I'm gonna take my bong rip, he'll like come next to me and shit. Like he wants to be around like the cloud and shit. He doesn't like it being blown directly at him, but he just likes to be in the vicinity of it.
Probably like the smoke of it, the smell of it.
Probably
It's
he does.
probably pleasing to him, yeah.
Mm.
But damn, you see how one bud took us again. So
Again,
uh,
yeah.
yeah,
We'll just keep touching on
um,
old herb and like people can see why
no,
these are good
yeah,
genetics because like we got stories
yeah,
associated to them. Sour diesel. Sour diesel I will always know because when I smell that shit, it's gonna give me a little something right here in my
yeah,
fucking cheek. Yep,
yeah.
like
That
that.
little
Yeah.
and Chem Dog too is a great one.
Chem dog, yeah. Chem dog is in the OGs, right? Is in the OG
Yeah,
genetic.
there was a time. There was a time where like the little cams were like people were calling OGs cams, and like you go get Chem Dog, it'd be some OG, and if you get some OG, it looked like Chem.
Mm.
But you could tell the difference if you had the eye. It wasn't that hard to tell.
GDP, we had Granddaddy Purple.
Oh, man. Like, remember the purple Urkel
Purple
was
Oracle.
another
You heard this dude's actually like
Urkel.
he's starting to like make something out of it now, right? Like he started branding it. Like he's like, cause yeah, y'all use me for that name or whatever. So he's been doing pretty good for himself. I don't know specifically what he's doing, but if I'm not mistaken, like he finally started like taking advantage of that shit.
Yeah, man, you should. You know who else? As far as TV and acting, was the guy from Sandlot. Remember the dude with the glasses that kissed the girl?
Oh yeah. Squints.
Yeah,
Squints is his name in the
yeah.
movie, but I don't remember his fucking name in real life.
His brand is called Squints.
Yeah, I actually do remember
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah. So there's an interview on First Smoke of the Day if you guys want to check that out.
Oh, he's on there.
There's, yeah. So
I do got to check that out. My favorite rapper, Logic, he gets known for looking like him. Like when he wears his glasses, he looks fucking dead ass like Squints. And then the dude from
that's
Dope is
funny.
Yola, he mentions Squints, I think, a few times, where like he does references to old school movies because he's from our generation too. I think he's from my age. So like
Yeah.
he's in that same kind of mentality of us of like shit getting lost and we're starting to get to a point where like
Yeah.
mother you don't know, like the young motherfuckers are younger than you think. Like they say some shit like, wait, how do you not know this? Like, I'm so and so. How old are you? Like, "Oh, I'm 20, I'm 21. Like, oh shit, dude, I thought you were like 27, 28, some shit like that. Like, nah, like,
Yeah, you do. I get that a lot too, man.
yeah, like, bro, I thought you knew.
Like,
Nah, get
bro,
the
I
fuck
thought you
away.
were older than me, man. What the
And then
fuck
sometimes they
wrong with you?
surprise you, like shit that you don't expect them to know. They're like, oh, I know about that. Like, how? How did you know about this and not that
Yeah,
type of shit?
I get that for my daughter a lot. My eldest daughter, like you know this, but not that. Like what the fuck?
Yeah.
It's like they learn things in different order than we did. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I
Like what
wonder
gets me
why.
with it is music. Like I'll listen to a
Oh,
song and then they'll be like, "Oh, this is hard," and I'm like, "Nah, bro, I know this beat from somewhere else." And they'll be like,
yeah, yeah,
"For real?" And I'm
exactly.
like,
Man.
"Yeah,
Dude, I
keep it
go through
playing.
that all the
Watch."
time.
Like when I used to work at the last job that I had as the driver for the body shop, there was a lot of times that the other guy that I was driving with, he was like, I don't know, I think he was 10 years younger than me at least, and I'll play some song. He'll play some song, and it'll be like some kind of mumble rap kind of stuff or something along those lines. Something that I usually don't fuck with. They got some handful of songs here and there, but I'm nitpicking. But for the most
He
part,
said,
I don't
man,
fuck with it.
dude.
But I'll hear the
Yeah,
beat, and I'll be like, "Yo, I know this song." He was be like, "For real?" And I'm like, "Yeah, not this song though, but they're reusing this beat. I know this production." And then I'll go
yeah,
fucking find the song in Spotify. Like, oh shit, yeah, that's the same song. Like, yeah, bro, I know this shit. Like, I'm good at that shit. Like, sourcing back a song. Like, yo, hold
yeah,
up, give me a
yeah.
few. I know this shit because that shit will
I
just
do
fucking
that
kill
all the
me.
time. Yeah, my daughter does that. She plays some song. You heard this before? I'm like, yeah, I heard that before you were alive. She's like, how? It just came out. I'm like, no, that beat is old as fuck.
Yeah,
And he's and they're destroying it because it has nothing to do with what they're talking about, man.
that's what hurts me. Like, not only that, like you guys are
Yeah,
killing the beat. Like,
it's
like the
dying.
the cadence is wrong. Like, oh my god,
Offbeat.
it
I
hurts.
don't know what to say. Well, but anyway, yeah, there was just a bunch of strains. Too many to recall, way too many to rename, but just trying to preserve not really the strains so much, but just that environment and that energy that was like going searching, hoping to find something you've never tried before. That experience is kind of dead unless you go to different boutique shops. But even now, you go to a boutique shop and they'll like generally carry the same distributed buds, which are not bad. They're really good exotic distributed buds. You gotta try them out. Um,
See, but still, I remember back in my day going to the shops. Like, it was hard to go to a shop and they had the same herb at every shop,
yeah,
or it
basically
was like each shop was pretty
that
much primo. It wasn't, oh, this shop, like you had your shops that had better or worse. Don't get me wrong, but like they were all like at a, let's say like at a 80% tier minimum and above. You know what I mean? Like you making it sound loud like all these motherfuckers are like 50
yeah.
minimum, and it's hard to find the
Wow.
80s.
So, excuse me. When you run into a lot of shops, that's what you run into. It's just a bunch of the same buds. It's just
Because I
that's
remember
where I
going
just
to I remember one of the things that we used to do is that we used to get the magazine, see what the new shop was, and then go get that like free 4 gram eighth or like that free joint with your eighth type shit. Like we just
yeah,
always go to new shops, get the new shit for being a new customer, trying different shit out because there was always some different shit, and that's it. Flipping it so we could smoke for
yeah,
free, do that shit again.
that basically it just turned into McDonald's. Like every different owners, all the same bud.
They started
That's
monopolizing
basically well
franchising.
around. You go everywhere. It's like fuck. Now, I remember just having to go to one shop and being happy. Now it's like fuck. I drive around all. We're all around town just to look for something that's just unique, you know.
Yeah.
So
Damn, that sucks.
I'm pretty much,
I'm glad.
I'm
I'm
pretty
glad
much
I was there
ready.
during the golden ages.
Yeah, man, that was good.
Now you got to bring it back.
Good fun never lasted.
Now you got to bring it back, bro.
I guess that's what I'm gonna try to do, man. And me and everybody else that's trying to start something, but it's just so hard, dude. Takes a lot of work and takes a lot of time and money. So
But it's like just be consistent with it, man. You're doing pretty good. The IG page is good. You got a good following. The herb looks fire.
it's a slow start, but
It always starts
you
off
know
slow.
it's
All
more
the
about
good stuff
providing
starts
that
slow.
environment. Like I said earlier about the plants, like providing an environment for it to grow. And the same thing I want to do with this idea that I have. Of just it's really about providing an environment and ambiance that we used to have, like sitting down in the car and freestyling and
Yeah.
searching for a bong, and everything just felt a little mystical, more magical, and everything now kind of feels kind of stale and standard. Like I remember having a good time trying to pick a flavor blunt now. Like now it's just no more flavors. Everything's one flavor here in California now because they changed the rule. I don't know how it is out there in Georgia.
What you mean,
So
like let's say
no more
Swishers?
grape
You only
blunt,
got like regular cigarillos. You don't got no like peach optimos, no grape optimos and shit.
no more peach, no more fucking
What?
grape, no more none of that. Nope, just like sweet aroma basic. There's some
Wow.
companies. There's some companies like loose leaf. There's some people still have those and they'll be flavored, but Swisher grape, all that stuff, you really got to go around looking for that, or you got to order it yourself, or you probably can't even do that anymore.
Wow. That kind of hurts a little bit to
Everything,
hear. I'm not even gonna lie. That's a little bit
yeah.
to my childhood. I remember going the first time to buy
So
a blunt, being excited. Turned 18, went to 7-Eleven, ready to show my ID. Fucking just handed it
yeah.
to me. Like, here's your 2 cents. Like, motherfucker, I could have been coming in here for fucking months. You didn't even think about
That's
it.
it. So I know things are supposed to change, and not everything's gonna stay the same, but um, just keep that smoke around, basically. Just keep it around and pass down the music, pass down that vibe that was there, pass down the energy we had,
I
the
know I'm
sense of
definitely passing down the
adventure.
music. There's a dude at my
And
job that he turned 21 like 2 months ago. And like I'm usually the one that's playing the music at work. Like I have my computer hooked up to the Bluetooth. And there's many a times where he comes up to my computer and he does music, like he does production. He goes by the name of Floon. If you guys are hearing this when he's famous now, I work with that motherfucker right now. Um he there's a lot of times where he'll come up to my computer like, yo, what's the name of that song on your playlist? And like I already know when he's coming up, like, are you looking for the song? Like, yeah, and I'll like just have the playlist kind of set up for him so you can kind of come check it out. But like even at my job, there's a lot of times like I work for a place that has 2 stores. So like each store, everybody when they hear my playlist, they fuck with it heavy and they always ask for like, oh no, like where's your playlist at? Like, oh, it's on Spotify. They'll look for it, follow it. So like I'm definitely passing down the music down to like this generation for sure. Handle the smoke session. I trust you on that shit. Naruto's gonna
yeah,
do the car stuff.
yeah,
We good
yeah,
on
yeah.
that. So, but all right, back to what you got growing right now. Let's take it back to that. What genetics do you currently have growing right now? What do you have vegging? What do you have harvest? Got any mother plants? What we got?
I got three mother plants, which are my peanut butter crosses, one, two, and three. I
You
have a
fuck with
blue
that's
dream
gonna
mother
be
plant.
like you always gonna have that peanut butter in deck. I feel like every time I talk to you, you always mention that peanut butter.
It's because it's like really, really good shit. Like it doesn't have it has a really high ceiling. Like you got to smoke a lot before it just doesn't work anymore.
How old is that
Fuck.
mother?
Um, the mother is shit. I don't know. Maybe like 28 weeks old, 30 weeks old.
That's pretty good. Like over six
Yeah,
months.
yeah. So it's from the beginning. So I took clones of each one,
Mm-hmm.
So those are mothered up, and I got a mother blue dream and five other blue dreams are going to be soiled because I did the other ones all hydro. I want to check them out how they come out soil.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because there is a difference. There's a difference in flavor and profile. Um, yeah, there's a difference between soil and do it growing hydroponically. I enjoy both, but I think soil is maybe the better tasting of the two.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a little bit. I think on the smoother side, a little bit more milky, um, or like silky, I guess you could say. Uh,
The smoke, you
but
mean?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
As far as quality, yeah. So I got those five blue dreams that I'm gonna grow in soil, my super soil mix, and then I have three sour diesels and
Oh,
seven. Um, but these are not regular sour diesel. These are NYC diesel. So it's an NYC diesel
okay.
cross with like some sort of Hawaiian. Um, so it's like a sweeter diesel kind of.
Mm.
Um,
It sounds like that's gonna be more sativa dominant.
yeah, I think so. They stretch a little bit. They're a little finicky. They're picky. It's not for the beginner grower. I wouldn't recommend any kind of sour diesel for the first time grower at all. You might not make it. Or it won't be. You'll probably think the sour diesel is not a good strain. If you don't have any kind of experience in recognizing the needs of a plant before it needs it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to be able to tell the future with that kind of. It's not. I would consider it maybe above moderate, a little bit above moderate, not an expert level.
Mm-hmm.
Not for the novice either. Not for a novice. It's not going to take stress well. Like, you can kill that plant pretty good. I mean, it's still a weed, but if you want really the good top notch, it's going to be finicky. It's going to be picky. It has some needs, some certain needs throughout its growth, and if you don't know about it, it's going to take you time to figure out what's wrong with your plant. So um, the sour diesel, and then I have a strain from a good friend of ours named Scott, and he is the guy who runs Sexual Chocolate Factory. I mean, you can find his stuff at 710 Labs. Percy flour, which is like their top-notch flour, really good concentrate. The Randy Watson, he's got some Rick James, Tupac, Kush. These are the names of his strains. And the one I have of his strain, which is a Stanley number 2, and you can actually order those seeds on his website or his Instagram, Sexual Chocolate Factory. Go check him out. Um, a friend of ours, gave me 5 of those seeds, and I got one female out of it. And I mothered that plant, and I got 7 clones of that rooting right now as we speak. So that's going to be my next set. It's going to be Stanley number 2 and NYC Diesel and 5 um, Blue Dream soils. And then after that, I got my plan set for LA Confidential, the Maui Wowie, and some Kush plants that I have growing that I have in plan. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
You
I
got
got the
quite a
next
bit
three.
going.
Yeah. Yeah. You gotta keep going, be consistent, or else, the wheel stops moving and it gets hard to start pushing it again.
Yeah, no, I
So,
100%. I get you. Like me with my mushrooms, I'm trying to be consistent where like I'm inoculating some rice every week. Like I'm buying like
yeah.
3 to 4 bags of rice and whatever make it, don't make it. Whatever make it, whatever don't make it, don't make it. And I'm learning along the way. But like if I get at least one of those 4 bags making it, that's a bag that what's one more that I didn't have, and I'm gonna learn from it, and then just keep perfecting and
Yeah.
dialing it down. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yep.
So I get you. I get
And
you on
that's
that. Consistency is key, man. That's 2024.
yeah.
That's what my shit is. The discipline of being consistent.
Hell yeah. So it's the keeping the wheel rolling is easier than starting it over and over and over and over. And
Agreed.
I learned that from time. Yeah. So
The hardest thing is always to
um
start.
yeah. So instead of having to start over, just start halfway through your process again while you're motivated. So
Hmm.
that's what I did, and um, that's where I'm at. So I'm just waiting for those to take root. I'm gonna give them each 2 weeks to grow. They're going in the hydro system, and that's a deep water culture, 8 bucket system under two 600 watt lamps.
HVS metal halide.
HPS.
HVS.
I like I
Okay.
put I have LED and I have HPS. I think I prefer HPS over LEDs.
Mm,
Personally, I just think that that yellow color right there is really close to the sun compared to like some white light with some red infrared.
yeah.
But um, the best way to go, I think, would be a combination of both, which I did in my last grow because I have some small LEDs that I supplement in there. So a few weeks before flowering is over, I throw LEDs in there too. So I have LEDs and HPS. So this is like a bigger spectrum covered.
Yeah.
So that's just one of my little tricks I do to have the edge
Do
that I
you
know other
target
people.
the LEDs at a specific part of the plant, like the lower parts of the plants, or you just add them next to the HVSs?
I put them next to the HPS and just try to
Okay.
get the best coverage as possible,
Okay.
and just let them do their thing and marinate.
Mm,
So and the outcome is pretty good. It's really good. I never did that before. I never did the mix, but that's my go-to now. I mix HPS. I have a 300 watt HPS that I throw in there, and that it does the trick. It does the trick. It gives it that edge. As far as terp profile, it's like unique. It's different.
mm,
It's got a little bit of both worlds. So that's actually that's my trick to have a little edge over the competition is a mixing of both lights.
mm.
As far as indoor grow, yeah.
And that's all you're vegging right now? The growth the vegging
Vegging
cycle?
right now, yeah. I'm actually just rooting right now.
Okay.
I'm rooting cuts that I took from my mother plant of my Stanley.
Gotcha. So you have nothing vegging at
So,
the moment?
yeah, I have 5 Blue Dreams right now. Those are about a month old,
Okay.
about 2 months old.
So those are still
They're,
in 1x1 rock wools, or you got them in the 4x4s
those are 4x4s already.
already? Okay.
So the option, the reason why I like the 4x4 is because it gives me the option whether I can throw them in the hydro system or I can throw them in soil.
You just
So
wait to
whatever
see however
situation,
you feel off the plant to make that decision?
yeah, whatever situation I run into, if let's say one of the cuttings don't take or doesn't, I have a supplement Blue Dream I can throw in there.
Mm,
So I try to grow and I try to set myself up in a redundancy system. So if one thing fails, I have something to back that up. If that fails, I have something to back that up. So I try to grow in a 3-layer system.
mm,
So that yeah, so I had like seeds, I had like seeds starting, and once I get rid of my 5 Blue Dreams, then I'll start a new set of seeds, which are going to be my LA Confidential,
mm,
and those basically 2 and 3 weeks, 2 months and 3 weeks that I'm gonna use to grow the rest of the plant that's what I'm gonna use to veg those LA cons into the proper size that I need. So let's just consider like a 9 week plant plus the 3 weeks that I'm gonna use to veg under these conditions to prepare it to flower. So that's the time I use, and I just keep that system going so that anytime I need plants or anytime I need cuttings, I just ready to go.
yeah.
Yeah.
So are you
And so,
officially you're officially in a rotation or you're still trying to complete a
yeah,
rotation?
bro, I'm already in it. I'm already in it.
You're in your second rotation, third rotation? Do you know?
This is my second one.
Okay.
And so I just grew, harvested, and dried a bunch of plants, and then I have my second rotation, which is this one, and this is gonna be my third rotation that I'm starting. And this is the sour diesel, the New York sour diesel seedling that I'm already lollipopping and training, and
And that's in a four by
that's
four.
4x4.
She
Look at
looking
the roots.
healthy. That's
You
white.
see, yeah, you see the roots, man.
Yep.
That's mass, bro.
That's
So I
beautiful.
make sure it goes out like that, and then I know it's healthy. It's ready to go, and I'm just gonna keep topping this and splitting this until I get enough, and then I'll just let it do its thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
that's nice. You've seen
So
people
that's
that make their own soil cubes.
no, I haven't ran into that yet.
So it's essentially it looks like a Rockwell cube essentially. So like the way that I used to do it is you would get like a PVC pipe and then I had a bolt with like a bottle cap on the bottom, and I'll put soil in the PVC pipe, and then I would just press the bolt with the bottle cap so I can and so it can just kind of form into like a little soil. So you make your own little soil cube. This was like in a cylinder in this instance.
Yeah.
And but it's essentially works like a rock wool, but instead of it being rock wool, it's soil. I used to just use a little chopstick to make the hole, and I used to just stick the clone on top like right into the top like that.
Mm.
I'll send you a clip about it because there's actually a press that they use to make soil cubes, which is fucking expensive. But it makes like four at a time, or you could do what I did, or I'm pretty sure you can kind of fabricate your own kind of little mess. You know what we need?
Yeah,
You and I, people like
I
us,
used to
we need
make
a
it too.
fucking 3D printer that can just do whatever the fuck we want. Like,
A
but
little one.
yeah, for real. I was looking at
Yeah.
ones already that they have. Like, I want to invest into one in the future to like make car parts. It's like heat resistant, like plastic material and shit like that, so it can take like the high temps and shit.
Man, with some metal shit already. Let's do it.
Yeah, for
Come on.
real. Like some Iron Man shit. But
Some straight fucking iron filament. Let's do it.
but yeah, I'll send you a link if I can find a link on like how to make your own soil cubes and stuff like that. Because that might be something
Yeah.
where you can save costs on not having to buy soil like Rockwell cubes. Like if anything, just use the Rockwell cubes for your hydroponics and like you don't have to use it for your like your clones or for like your soil mixture. Like it'll already be
Yeah.
growing in soil and stuff like that.
That'd be a good cost saver. A good cost saver.
Yeah,
Was
because you say you
I
make your
feel,
own
I
soil in the
feel,
back anyways and stuff like that anyways. Like you kind of let it go.
yeah, I
So
do.
um,
Yeah,
just I'll send
I
you a
can
link on it.
always.
So it's called soil cubes specifically. Like it's
I can
if you
always.
Google it's like soil cube press or soil press or something like that. But I'll show you what it is.
Yeah, I could make my own press real quick. No problem.
Mm-hmm. Like once I show you what it is, you'll get the concept or the idea, and then I'm sure you can fabricate something at home. But it was
That
just something I
sounds
was thinking
good.
that between that and what I was telling you last time, the cover crop, looking to the cover crop thing, that should have saved you with water
Oh yeah,
retention.
I keep forgetting about that shit.
That should have helped you with
But
water
yeah,
retention. You won't have to water as much,
I
so
want
you
to
can
get a
save a little bit
bag.
on
I
that
want
as
to get a
well.
big bag of those seeds. Yeah, I want to
Hmm.
get a big bag of those seeds and try it out. I do get a lot of mushrooms though out of my soil. I get tons of mushrooms,
That's good.
bunch of different kinds. Yeah, growing out of my soil,
Mhm.
mushrooms,
It's funny, man. I
mycelium.
used to think when I used to see mycelium growing and shit like that, it wasn't good. And now that I know what I know, it's just like, oh, that shit's actually really fucking good. Like, let it do what it
Yeah,
does. Like, I see mushrooms growing in my yard, like when I threw the wood chips in the front, and like after a fucking rainy ass day, like a day or two later, you just see like big ass mushrooms pop out.
but have you thought about doing that outside with one of your inoculations,
I have an
one of your
area next
trees?
to the side of the house that I'm gonna end up using for that because it gets completely shaded. the entire time, like the way that the sun travels through my house. That part is
Mm.
completely shaded. So when it rains and everything like that, it's just like it would be like the perfect conditions for mushrooms.
Man, you should get a big do a big pile of cow shit. Okay.
I have two areas actually. There's that side of the house that I'm telling you, and then so my backyard is like flat, kind of hilly, and then it gets flat again. On like that last third part where it's flat, um, that kind of part just kind of I just kind of let that part grow and let nature do what it does. That part is
Yeah.
also equally shady and gets shaded very well, and like I actually go there whenever I make. I've been trying to figure out what the fuck this shit is called too, but it's like essentially I don't know if you've ever seen it. You've seen Korean natural farming methods, KNF
Uh-huh.
method. You've seen when they
Yeah.
like they use the rice to collect all the microbes for like the area and shit like that.
No,
So
never seen that.
they this guy you create like a little 4x4 little box and shit, and then you have like paper towels covering it so bugs don't get into it. But essentially, you create like you get rice and you make it kind of not moldy, but moldy, I guess, because you want it to attract mold. Like you want it to start like building like a fungus to it. And you just kind of you set it. It's best to set it like after it rains, like on top of some dead leaves or something like that in the shade, so that it can actually like collect the microbes and all that shit that's actually from nature. And
Yeah.
then you do like how they in the KNF process you see when they do the reverse osmosis process with the brown sugar. So essentially, after you come back after, I think it's like 4 days to like a week, something around that time period. You come back to the rice, and then the rice is gonna be you're gonna have little cakes, like little clumps of like the mycelium and like the fungus kind of being together. Those are the pieces you want. You weigh that shit out, and then you put equal parts sugar. Boom, and then
Uh,
you're extracting those microbes with the sugar, and you get that like KNF food syrup, and
mm,
then you add that to your soil. So like when you're doing your super soil mix you were talking about, and you let it in fermenting and baking, you can when you water that initial watering to get it all doing what it's got
started.
to do. Yeah, exactly. You can introduce those microbes into the water like as a feeding, and then feed it like that. So now
Yeah.
your soil is more resistant to like any kind of potential whatever may happen, because now you have the soil. I think of it in the same principles like when you get a shot, they give you a little bit of the flu so that the vaccine can take it in. Kind of like that. Like you get all the microbes from the environment so that when you grow into it, like it's already resistant to a bunch of shit in the environment and stuff like that.
Hopefully, without all the mercury and baby fetal tissue in it.
Yeah, exactly. But
Yeah,
that's
just
essentially the
kidding.
whole process
Yeah,
of it like that though.
yeah,
Because I
yeah,
was thinking
yeah.
about starting a new one because I had one myself that I had started. But this year I'm gonna do something different with the fruit trees, and like that's something I want
there's
to start
a
doing.
another method I learned too is you can also get some leaves that have decayed a little bit too.
Hmm.
You can use the mold from that also
Yeah, the
from
leaf mold.
outside your house. Hmm. A leaf mold to start the process of breaking it down and adding the brown sugar to the RO water with the bubble solution and just let it
Mm.
cook and cook and cook.
Do you break the leaves
That's
down, or
another
you just leave
one.
them in intact, like big?
You can just throw them in there whole. It just needs what's on the leaf, you know. Just
Yeah,
throw a handful in there, and
just
you. I
equal
mean, you
parts
can
brown
get those
sugar.
kind of. Yeah, yeah, you can just get those microbes from any kind of like decaying matter that you find around your house. I'm
And
sure
that's
all
why
that
they
stuff
say
will help out.
use like throw it on top of like deadly. Like the guy that I seen, he's legit says like when you find the box, like find like the biggest parts of dead leaves that you can or something like that, and set it right there.
That's probably when he's collecting the same mold from that leaf or whatever
Mm-hmm.
from that leaf.
Probably you're just getting it
Maybe that's a
more
cleaner
like
way.
yeah. That
It's
I think
probably a
that's what it
cleaner way of
is.
extracting it without having the leaf
Yeah,
matter. It's
because
probably
the
the
bottom,
cleaner way.
the bottom, it's almost like think of it like a wooden crate, like you carry fruits and shit like that, and it has like those slits in the bottom so like it can breathe. So like you want
Mhm.
those slits in the bottom so that it can breathe, but then the top. you have like paper towels just kind of stapled on top, just to prevent like bugs and like rodents and shit like that from getting in. But the paper towel still allows like microbes and shit like that to, I guess, kind of go through, or it still allows it to breathe so that it can do what it got to
Yeah,
do and shit like that, because everything's coming in from the bottom. But
that's
I
interesting.
think it's like a week. I'll send you a video on that too, the guy that I seen, because that's what I
Yeah,
started doing for my fruit trees and shit like that, and like that shit works. Like right now, because right now for myself, I only grow my fruit trees as high as I can reach. I don't need them to grow any bigger than that, so that I can just make sure that everything within my reach just gets bushy and abundant. So I don't even
yeah,
really need to feed it nitrogen. Whatever nitrogen I do feed it comes from just whatever mulch that I give it, which is usually that comfrey plant, which I gotta send you the root cuttings for still. And
yeah.
call it? I can even make like a KNF food out of those comfrey leaves too if I wanted to, and just add a little bit of that as my nitrogen feed. But most of my feed comes from like banana peels. Like I make my fertilizer from banana peels, and because I want them fruiting, I don't want them vegging. I want
Yeah.
fruits on my fruit trees. I don't want leaves on my shit. So that, like, even now, like I was reading on how they use it for roots, like to germinate roots and stuff like that. It's good for starting roots and stuff like that. Banana specifically, shit like that. So I've been experimenting with using that. Like I have these two 1 gallon water jugs, and then like I'll just put like a teaspoon of that as the food in there, because that's what I use for food. I don't even buy food no more. I make my own plant food, and that shit works way better than any plant food I would have bought.
That's something I'm already leaning towards too because it is cost effective as far as plant food goes.
It's way better for
Because
it too, bro.
that's I think aside from soil and your electric bill, that's the most expensive thing when it comes to growing. So
I
if you
think
have
you
the
could. I mean,
ability
if
to
you could save
produce,
your money on like not buying soil food, you just save it for the hydroponic stuff. Because for hydro, obviously, you got to be the food source for that shit.
well, yeah, you gotta have your stuff ready to go because hydroponics can't use organic solutions
Yeah,
yet.
which sucks. I was gonna say, like, once they could find a catalyst for that, it's a wrap. Because then you
But
can make
there,
your own food for
there's
hydro.
there's 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 some companies that you could use that are like semi-organic, you could say,
They're starting to
that you
venture
could
into
use in a
that.
hydro system. I was thinking about trying that company called Botanicare
I
because
know
you could
exactly what
use their
company you're
system.
talking about.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I already use their stuff, but I haven't seen any other one that is like an organic or semi-organic one that I could use in a hydroponic system, and I'm interested to see how that comes out because all I've grown was in salts,
Hmm.
and I wonder if those results will come out a lot better. But I was also thinking about using that company Advanced Nutrients.
I remember hearing that
So
name
I got
too.
to do a little bit more research and see what fits me and what balances the budget as far as spending it. And if not, I want to go the KNF route because, or any other kind of
The K and F
homemade.
route for your soils, I think would be for your soil thing will definitely be the route. Like if I send you some comfrey, look into comfrey just so that you can see all the nutrients that are involved in it if you haven't already.
Yeah.
And you can see it can be a very complete plant um to use to feed your plant as a mulch, or like make, like I said, make like a K and F with the brown sugar batch, like the food like that. There's a name for that. I can't, like, the actual process for that. I can't remember. Um,
Is it an acronym for something?
I can't remember.
Start with a
I know
J.
they food, no, fruit. One is like fruit something juice. Maybe there was a J in there. Because I know there's OHN too. Because I made my own like insect repellent, like insecticide. That shit took a while to do because I had to like ferment. I had to get like I had to go. I had to source like ground up garlic, um, and like 3 or 4 other herb, like black licorice. I think some other shit I'd never heard of. Then I had to ferment it in fucking vodka, and then I had to like mix them all together in like these equal portions, and at the end you end up with it like this like super bomb ass fucking insecticide concoction. I had a whole menu and everything. Like I'll show it to you one day. I'll send you a link and everything on how on what I got, or I'll end up sharing it or something. But um, what I would suggest for you to look into, just to be cost effective on that sense, is that cover crops because that's going to save you with water retention. It's going to help with water
Yeah,
retention, so it'll save you with water. Korean natural farming because then you can make your own food. So y'all can just start. I'm pretty sure, especially when y'all got a bunch of kids, you can connect all the banana peels you need in like a week. I'm sure.
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
And what just honestly, just like with those two alone, because once you learn the Korean natural farm or like distracting the shit with the brown sugar, like you can, especially you as a gardener, you're very observant. Like, oh, you notice, oh, this plant does this to that plant. Like, let's say for example, like you can actually, let's say you have a plant that veges quick as fuck, you can collect a pound worth of leaves. Like the next time you trim your shit and give it a haircut, collect all the leaves, get
yeah.
100 pounds. I mean, sorry, get
Throw
a
that into the
pound,
bucket.
get brown sugar, and it's gonna extract those properties of it being a fast growing plant. Like that's what you end up doing is you end up extracting the properties from the plant, whatever it may be. That's why for
Yeah,
bananas,
yeah.
it's good for the flowering.
I have,
Um,
mhm.
anything with sugars and like shit like that. So then you can start experimenting with your own stuff. Like, bro, Instagram KNF, bro, hashtag KNF. Trust me, you'll see a bunch of shit. I guarantee you, you can learn. You'll That'll definitely be to your benefit for sure.
Fuck.
And I send you the shit that I've already come across, and then you can look over that shit as well.
Hell yeah, that sounds good.
Because I know, because like I said, anything that you can use for herb, I can use for vegetables and fruits and shit like that. It's the same thing. So plants.
Yeah, I use the same techniques for my like I have cabbage and I have like a bunch of stuff growing outside too. So
I got some melons
yeah, I
growing
could
right now.
definitely use it. The melons.
Cantaloupe and honeydew.
I gotta start something like that too.
They're
It's
like
just
this
freezing
tall.
cold up here, man.
The seedlings. Oh, it's cold now, but I have them indoors. So I'm thinking about throwing them in my grow tent. I have a grow tent that I'm not using, but I could just use it for growing some fruits and veggies and just like I eat a lot of peppers when I grow my salad, so I'm starting to get peppers started and just like put in that motion. Like I came into 2024 like cracking. Like the first podcast that I dropped was on New Year's Day, and then later that day I dropped like two more. Then later that week I dropped another one. I already got five now when I dropped the car episode, and then I had another one planned, but I'm gonna have this one be the next one. And then yeah, anytime we talk up, we could just record it, bro. And then like every conversation could just be a podcast, so we could just be blowing the fuck up.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just be a little bit more sober next time. Damn, I just smoked like three blunts and I'm
That's fine. I
at
took
whack.
like two or three
Let's
bong rips. I haven't even noticed time. This podcast is probably like 2 minutes.
go.
Nice thing about them is there's no time limit. It can go as long as I fucking want, or I could even split it if I want, make a part two if I needed to. But
Shit, it's pretty
just so
long.
people know, like this, Larry will be more than likely a very recurring person on the podcast. Um, talking a lot about just old memories, but always talking about cannabis at some point. Always getting the updates on his plants, seeing how they're growing, just picking his brain on what's new, what's working for him, what ain't. 'Cause like you said, each plant has its own personality. So, and even when I grow too, in vegetables, fruits, and stuff like that, everything's different. Everything, it's a plant, yeah, and it's all like it gives a fruit, yeah, but like you got your sour fruits, you got your sweet fruits. They require different things.
Yeah,
Like you got your sativicas, you got your indicas, you got some stuff that are heavy feeders, some that are not heavy feeders. So it's all about learning.
yeah.
Do you document your plant growth? Like, do you journal like, oh, this
No,
genetic this genetic that?
not anymore. I don't document anything.
You should do video
I'm just kind
journals.
I'm just kind of growing. You know what I mean? I'm just kind of growing and like maybe once I figured like a like some sort of recipe that people could follow or something I can share with people.
Mm,
Because if I write down what I'm thinking about and trying to figure that's a whole book in itself, you know, like so I think I want to simplify the process before I start like sharing and writing things down for myself because right now it's all like feel touch and go, feeling how I'm feeling out the plants and like
Mm,
really learning about myself and like consistency with watering, maintaining. Because the instructions are already written down. You can find them anywhere. You can find them in the Grow Bible. There's DVDs. It's not really so much um, the plant. It's more you. Like what time do you want to water? What time does a plant need water compared to what time you want to water? And it's really training yourself, adapting yourself to what the plant requires, as opposed to just following a standard recipe and A, B, C, D, E, F, G. It's more like, yeah, you can do ABC, but you can't do ABC every day. You'll be drowning the shit out of your plant.
mm,
So you gotta go by by what you do, and I'm not winging it, but I just don't need to like personally write anything down for my memory or anything like that because I remember how to grow every strain that I grow. Like I know how to grow it. It's just off memory as opposed to recipe.
yeah.
So I like it's just like my cooking. Like all my cooking, I don't really recipe. I don't know how much salt I'm putting in. I don't know. I
You
just
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 know.
put it in. I just know how much it needs. I just yeah. Once I can simplify that process, where I can write it down in like 2 sentences, so that you can understand instead of like just all my crazy shit that I'm going through. Oh, look at the color of this, the chemical reaction of the blah 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 of the 45-degree nucleus of the. Instead of all that stuff, I just want to simplify it. Just put that. Fix this, just put that. Because the process of marijuana has been complicated. Growing it has been extremely complicated. It's just complications were basically invented by companies to scare you into having to buy their product, or else you're going to have some sort of problem. Which you just need dirt, the Native Americans. So a damn salmon in the bottom of your shit, some dirt and water. You could grow some decent herb, you know.
Mm,
But all these complications and technicalities and scientific reviews and all that stuff, I think that would just complicate the process of something that was always meant to be simple in the first place. Like overthinking and like trying to get down to the nucleus of everything. When you just need to give it water, bro. Like it's not rocket science. That's what I'm trying to say, And I think about it as rocket science, and I don't want to write that down. And I might record it, but I don't want to. I don't want to write it down. Honestly, not yet. Until the process is simplified for me, like then I'll be able to put it in layman terms. And I'll be able to share it with people.
mm.
Isn't it be like doctor notes, a bunch of scribbles? The fuck's he talking about? What is he talking? What the fuck he's talking about? Some calcium and you know, just tell you what you need to do and the easiest way to apply it, as opposed to side notes and cliff notes and definitions and me just inventing shit in my head, thinking that's what it is, but it's not that.
Mhm,
And then, because I'm still experimenting right now, I'm still like learning. I'm still trying these new products. I'm trying to see what's what, but I know what to do to grow good weed already.
mhm,
So um, it's not a process of what to do. You can find the recipe to do that. Is find your process so that you can perform and do what the plant needs when it needs it. Because there's no set recipe when it comes to this. Everything is different. Variables change, temperature changes, humidity changes, things go out, things break. If you're not consistent with every day watching it, every minute of the day, um, you can run into issues and there's no standard formula for this process. There's it's not a standard formula. The standard formula is to help you get going, and you'll start noticing that whole setup. How you buy like a feeding chart, and you realize that feeding chart is just too much. Like whoa, my plant doesn't require all this stuff. It looks like it's dying because I'm following your chart. So as opposed to like they're playing by ear and playing by sight and playing by smell and learning the natural way as opposed to instructional like that. I think an organic way of growing doesn't only apply to what you're putting into it, but it's the way you're thinking about how it's growing. Like your education has to be organic too, as opposed to like, oh, just do what Google says. Yeah. So as far as me writing it down, not yet. I don't think I would need because it's gonna change from one day to the next for me anyway. You know.
Mm.
Yeah. So if I write it down today, I think I'd be dishonest to myself tomorrow because there'll be so many things I'm missing that I didn't know then, but I know now. So maybe the process once I consider myself like I can do this in my sleep, then I think I'll write myself a small book or maybe do an audio book of like a step by step process
Well,
without
well,
having to give all this science and all the
I
stuff
didn't
that you
even
don't
mean
even
writing
know
stuff
about.
down for like a book, like to share information, which I would suggest eventually. We actually, once you do get it dialed down,
Yeah.
though. But I just mean for like for your sake, like, oh, I fed this plant this much this time around, so then I can go back and see if I can like feed it a little bit more, see if it'll take it. Like, oh, it started showing burn signs, so let me dial it back down to this, that kind of shit like that. Like just little like for your personal
Yeah.
sake, not like not documentation shit for like to share
No,
information, but just for
I
you.
haven't. No, I haven't. I haven't yet. Lacked the memory to have to do that yet. Like
Okay.
I still feel comfortable enough to I could just see. I don't know how I can say like I'm active with the plant. I'm in the moment with the plant right now. Like I don't when I'm doing hydro, I try not to leave my house. I'm like with the plant all the time, all the time.
Mm.
So like I'm constantly updating myself with the situation. As like some people come in and they like check in the morning, they might check in the afternoon, and that's about it. Like I'm always in this room, so I would just be here writing. I wouldn't be really working
Mhm.
too much, but as far as personal data goes, it's that's why I call it my simple method, because it's very simple where you have to have a basic knowledge of the entire lifespan of the plant, and you just know what it needs until it doesn't need anything, and then you just kind of flushing a little bit, but not too much, and your process is done. That's how easy it is in my mind, and that's how easy it is. I think I can share the things that are complicated made easy, being able to share it later on.
Mm.
But as far as like, oh, taking notes that I gave this many milliliters, this many milligrams, when it comes to the soil, um, the organic nutrients are so forgiving and they're so light that you really can't mess that up unless you're really on some overdosing thing. You really can't mess that up
That's
because the
true. You just
soil
got
is
to give it
very
water, right?
the soil is very forgiving, and you can flush out that medium and kind of start over. Um, when it comes to the hydroponic, you're only giving it food once a week or once every 7 days. So you don't really have to like worry about, oh, is there too much this or not enough that, because the plants take what they need in that situation. What you're really checking and what I try to write down, which I really didn't need it this time because the plants did very well, would be my daily EC and my daily pH. Would be something that I would that was something I would be writing down to better take care of my plants. But as far as like a feeding schedule and what I feed it and how much, I only need to feed it once a week as far as the hydros. And the plants I feed maybe once or twice a week. So there really isn't that much data to take down. You
I
know,
got you.
yeah, there's not that much data. So um, the data so far and long, like the data, most of the information would be pH, EC level, and water level, like how much water that plants actually consume that I have to replace with more solutions or whatever.
Mm.
Um, Measuring the ppm in the water too tells me how much the plants have been consuming with the rate. So that's the data that I do write down, but like feeding and what and how much, I really don't write that down. I keep it consistent until I see it needs a deficiency, or if I see a toxicity, that's when I might make an adjustment. But since I'm not feeding that much and I don't have that many plants, it would only be, just like I said, EC and ppm and
and
pH.
pH.
That's that's all I'm taking down, and to see what, because without that information, I don't know how much
What's being
to add
uptaken
in
by
the
the
next.
plant.
Yeah, so you want to maintain a certain EC in your hydro system. You want to maintain a certain amount of food because the plants have the ability to eat everything you throw at them. They'll eat everything. They have a bunch of water, and they'll just be sitting in a few salts with no food. And you thought you fed them, but they ate it all. You can actually reintroduce more water with more food and bring that EC back up. And increase your fertigation. Basically, and the more EC you have, the more your plants can feed, and the better their optimum growing in that situation. So that is what I would write down, but this time I didn't need to do it because, like I said, the blue dreams are very simple. They don't really jump too high in pH. They just change pH as the plant's growing, but it's not difficult to the point where I need to take notes. It's not that much information yet. Yeah, but eventually, I think I'm gonna start developing a system where I can write everything down. But as opposed to write it down, I want to put it in a computer so I can see charts, like
Mm,
a scale or something thing like that, where it's easier for me to measure. As opposed to seeing a bunch of numbers, I can see a scale or some sort of graph that's more visually understandable, as opposed to just reading a paragraph or two and seeing a bunch of numbers and just show you like this is the fluctuation in feeding for this particular type of plant, and these points is where you have to add or subtract, or it seems easier in that way. But
honestly, bro, I could probably easily do something like that for you if you wanted.
yeah, it's easy. PowerPoint, just put that data
Yeah,
in there, and
do it.
it's pretty much
Excel spreadsheet. You could input the
Excel.
number, and then you
PowerPoint,
can make those numbers become a graph, and you'd be straight.
yeah, Excel, yeah, yeah. Just put that in there, and you'd be able to. Because I think like the Grow Bible and all that, it's really good because there's a lot of pictures and there's a lot of visuals, But I think it's easier to see and easier to do than translating words into something you do.
Hmm.
So it'd be easier for people to see a graph and like
Just
with
for the
the
visual
time and
learners.
date. Yeah, it's for the visual learners, and so that you don't have to spend too much energy trying to visualize the words that I'm speaking to you. It's already kind of done, and it's simply done. It's just simple so that you don't destroy your time and your money that you're putting into your growth, because it is expensive, it's time consuming. Nobody wants to do 3 months of all this labor just to ruin your plants right before harvest.
Mm,
That sucks. So that's why I keep it simple, follow the basic rules, and that you should be always, you know you should be good, because there's no way you should be having to write down so much information and so much. You're doing too much. You're doing too much. You're over loving the plant, and there's just like too much going on, and most likely you're gonna ruin it.
mm,
So you can over love things too. You can under love, and you can over love, and same thing with watering. You can over water, you can underwater. So do you follow instructions, or do you look at the soil and see if it's still wet? Instructions say water, but it just looks soaking wet to me. Do I keep watering this thing? So you gotta play based on your environment, because like in your environment it's hella moist, so your plants might not dry up as fast as mine do out here in the summertime. My shit drink water out here, so I might have to apply 2.5, and you might just have to use 1.5. So environment and variables, and so the only information I write down is just pH, EC, and
ppm.
and ppm. That's all I write down for the hydro because the soil is so forgiving. I know I know what's in the soil, and I just give it water, molasses, and silica. So my feed is so simple. I'm not worried about the pH. I'm not worried about the ppm or scorching or burning because it's really nothing in the water, you know.
Yeah, no, you're
But
feeding
when
the
I measure,
microbes more than anything. If you're feeding it the molasses,
that's all I'm doing is making sure they stay alive and the
yeah.
soil stays damp enough so they're not dying off and having to restart the culture.
Hmm.
So that's pretty much, if any notes I would take is measuring also how damp your soil is so that you can have a gauge on, you're from week to week to week to week. So you're not really kind of guessing it. You know that in 3 days it dries out, it starts to dry out. You know that in 4 days you already have the past experience. But I haven't had enough plants for the point where I needed to start writing things down. Like it's just small right now, but I can definitely see myself writing everything down when I have a lot more plants, like larger scale,
Hmm.
because I can manage everything with my own memory right now. So,
I would
which
say for you, like you
yeah,
said, like uh, at least for me, from just talking right now, you're more visual. As long as you work way better visually than having to read some shit. When you do get to a point
yeah,
where you got to do some shit with
and
the plants, do like a video journal. Like don't write it down. Do it like motherfuckers in the future. Like they just have like a video log, and you can use your
yeah,
YouTube as like your video archive. Like because people like seeing shit like that from the beginning. Like especially like if you're about to start from scratch to scratch, because people always see motherfuckers like already halfway successful or already successful, and like how'd you get there? So now you got to kind of recreate the behind the scenes, but you have a unique opportunity right now where like you said you're at a point where I don't need to take notes yet, so but you can still be video logging your shit, and then eventually your video logs will be your notes because you get to a point and you can kind of stamp it like, all right, we are now at a point, followers, where like I gotta start using these videos as notes, like I got too many plants now, and then boom, and then at that point your every video going from there, is like your notes and stuff like that, and then you can always go back to it, put subtitles to it, whatever. You can show the plant, so now you don't have to remember what the plant looks like. Boom, you can move the camera, you can show it. Just you have that option now. It don't always got to be written no more. You can now make a video journal if you wanted to. I think that would actually probably suit you better. You don't have to spend your time writing
probably
shit down. Just whatever you're
yeah,
doing, you can just have to talk out loud. You just have
yeah,
to get
because
in the
that
practice of
paper
talking to yourself out
that
loud.
paper that paper and pen will be pretty dirty.
Yeah, see what I'm saying? Just save the
If
paper
it's
and pen for
hands on.
drawing, and then just use the video shit for
Yeah,
like your journal and expressing your ideas and shit.
yeah. Eventually, there's some things that I want to do that for because like strains are like supposed to be they're like grown specifically in a certain way,
Hmm.
and I wouldn't mind having an instruction video for like, so let's say sour diesel, like this is step A to step B for this particular plant, and here's a complete visual on it. You know what I mean? So if I don't know what they're called, but people sell those too. Like they'll sell your strain and they'll sell your USB card, and in that USB is like everything from day one to day end to max it out, and you got to pay a
What?
lot of money for that. Yeah.
That
And
sounds
eventually,
tight.
yeah, like, all
That
right,
sounds like
day
something
one,
you could
this,
definitely venture into because you're like you said, you're somebody that gives the plant the time
yeah,
as opposed to like being on the schedule. You're on the plant's time, not the schedule's time.
yeah. It's more personal because for me, if you grow your own weed, because I don't only allegedly sell it, I also use it, so I want it to work.
Yeah.
I really actually want it to work. Um,
Medicinally, like you want the quality to be there.
so there's like a connection between me and the plant too. I'm sure the plant has some sort of awareness. Is like, oh shit, this is the caretaker coming in here,
Mm,
and I'm going through the whole process. So I'm sure that everybody's experienced this if they've grown, particularly marijuana for themselves. That it hits you a little bit different than it hits everybody else. Just that personal connection I think that you make with that plant too.
agreed.
That
Like I
like you
said with
said,
the
like
Skywalker
you said, that
OG.
sour diesel. Yeah, it's just
Yep.
something. Like some, oh, that's some regular, but to you, it's like, bro, that shit just hits me different, bro. It
Hmm.
just really
It's
works
almost
on
like
me.
the plant
And I'm
is doing it for
learning,
you, for yourself. Like, yeah,
yeah,
like
like
it's hitting
I
you
really
personally with
know,
the sensation. Like everybody else is gonna
yeah,
get a
because I
regular,
can.
but it's a little bit extra for you because
Yeah,
you were there.
'cause you go in your grow room. A lot of people that grow, they know they go into the grow room. They might spark something up, or they might be angry or upset, or maybe have a down day. And you go in there and you kind of distress your plants, kind of ground you. You're touching them. They're exchanging ions, and you're grounding out with these plants. And I think they kind of feel what you're going through, and maybe in a weird scientific way adjust their terps and adjust their things for your desires and your needs. Like we do have an effect on our reality, and I think that has something to do with that. So growing, I think the spirit of the grower, the plants takes on the spirit of the grower. I really believe it does too. So you can see your essence in your plant, the effort you take into everything you do, all the energy you take into pruning, touching it, talking to it, sitting down with it. You spend a lot of time with it, and there's like an exchange of energy there, So you're eventually going to consume the plant, So, and other people are going to consume it, and that's your energy, your essence are going to be consuming. So, I mean, you could come in and commercially grow a bunch of weed, or you can have that heirloom hands-on, personal type of shit, and the grower is a very honorable, let's say, respectable person, and they treat their plants right, and you're gonna get that same healing essence from that plant, because there's like plants that are grown by people, and then there's same plant that can be grown in the wild, and why for some reason that wild plant just seems a lot more potent. It just seems more strong because it's grown by God, food. Like the best grower on earth is the earth itself. So there's a reason why like organic, natural stuff is just a little bit better for you. So I think the same thing applies to herb that you grow for yourself. It's just a little bit better for you because it has your essence and it has your energy and your time that you put into it.
Hmm.
So I encourage everybody to go out there and grow your own medicine. Really do it. Whether it's herb, or whether it's marijuana or anything else that you might need. It doesn't have to be weed. It could be your own food. Like grow your own food and go to the store and buy some. You'll never want to buy stuff at the store
I've
again.
been trying to push that too. Like I came across somebody a few years ago that talks about, well, like when you start looking at your food as medicine instead of just food, like we're gonna change the way we eat.
Yeah.
And like
Like,
that's true. Like that's that's what further motivated me more to get my shit, like so I could grow my own food, so I could get my own shit started like that. That's
yeah,
why like I'm going hard this year right now so that I could document and show people how to do it, that it can be done, what you can do with
yeah,
it. Like same thing with the fruit trees. Like one of the things that I'm like, because I've little been little, I know fruit trees want to be involved in the brand and me pushing it in. Like I know eventually when I sell T-shirts and stuff like that, I'm going to be donating money to put it towards planting fruit trees and stuff like that. But I grow fruit trees myself here as well. So like I've been pushing the idea like money literally grows on trees. You got cannabis over there, which you can grow and sell. That's your money on trees. And then here, what I can do since it ain't legal is I have fruit trees. Fruit trees can literally be your money grow on trees. Like right now, come the beginning of springtime, once my buds start to open up, I know that the plant's already growing. It's waking up. It's in the veg stage. So I can go ahead and cut it, prune it, give the shape to the tree that it needs, show people how to one, grow their own food, two, how they can profit from it. You can sell the fruits, you can make more fruit trees and sell the fruit trees itself. Now you're pushing more fruit trees and more healthy food out into people and now promoting like good eating food. And then, you can use those profits for whatever you want. Like, I was talking earlier when I did the sneaker video. If you want you grow your sneaker collection, you could do that. If you want to fucking get car parts, because I did the car episode the other day, you need some shit for the interior, stuff like that. Boom, sell a couple plants. You got some shit for fruit trees. There's
yeah,
stuff you can do with it, and you're also promoting just a healthier lifestyle. Just good overall. Everything good for the earth, good for people. Um, like eventually, I want to actually find like some homeless shelters around here, give them fruit trees, and like give these people purpose. Like I don't have nothing to do in
You
life. Grow your own fucking fruit tree. Here's a
gonna
fruit tree. Bam. Like
you gonna
there's your
see
purpose.
you're gonna see all your fruit trees in the pawn shop window, dude.
Fuck it. Somebody's gonna buy it. It's gonna already have
Fuck
fruit.
it.
Like it's gonna go to
You
somewhere.
put it on the tags like, yeah, $25 a plant.
The fuck it. Somebody's gonna eat it though.
You'll see somebody taking care of it,
Somebody's got
watering it,
to.
keeping it
Shit, dude.
alive.
Like I don't know if you've seen these videos of motherfuckers that do like I forget what they call it, but like they essentially have like seeds and like salt shakers, and they just like go in the city
So
and
they
like
use
just
flowers everywhere, huh?
yeah, and just like it's got like vegetables and like
Hey, that
edible
sounds
plants and
that
shit
sounds
like
like
that.
a pretty fun activity to do with your kids, man. I might want to do something like that with my kids.
For real, just
Yeah,
collect
that's gonna be
like
fun.
especially like shit
And
that you
then
get a
later on
lot
in the
of
year,
seeds of in
man,
abundance, like peppers, melons, shit like that. Just put them in a salt shaker and just like everywhere, bro.
everywhere. Yeah, and come back after the rainy season and just watch all that stuff grow.
Bruh, you be solid. Like I
It'll
gotta
be
create
it'll be
some
like
kind
a
of
great
movement. I
feeling.
gotta put something down where that like that's something that I'm trying to do. That's why I want. That's why I'm trying to push the fruit tree thing so much, just because I love it, man. Like whenever I think of fruit tree, my first experience with a fruit tree was with you. We were at that one dude's house, that Buddhist dude, and he had the Asian pear in the back in Carson, or on the way to
Oh
Carson.
yeah,
No, it was Carson.
yeah,
I
yeah,
just know
yeah.
you and Andy knew him. I don't remember, but I remember
The
we was
The
Asian
ancient
dude. He
pear
was
tree in the back.
Buddhist,
Yeah,
and he had the little Asian pear in the back. And I remember like we went out there. You helped me pick one, and you ate one. We were just in there grubbing that shit. Like, damn, this shit's bomb as fuck. I never even knew there was Asian pear existed. I just knew about regular pears, like Coca-Cola bottle, like pretty shit.
yeah,
And this shit looked like a
yeah,
like an apple. And I'm like, this shit ain't no pear, motherfucker. And sure enough, that
yeah,
shit's a
yeah,
pear. And like I ate it. And it was
yeah,
I'd seen fruit trees on the floor, but this is the first time I picked it, ate it, was like very conscious of it. You know what I'm saying? Like it
yeah.
was just a whole experience that should never change me. And then once I got to smoking herb, like that shit just ignited just the gardener in me and shit like that. Anybody that grows herb, like 99.9% of people, I would probably say that grow herb have at one point had the idea cross their mind about I wonder if I could grow some herb. Like it's almost like in the plant. Like you smoke herb, you might want to think about
Wanna grow
growing
it?
weed. Like it's
Yeah,
it's I've yet to come across somebody who's never really not thought about it. That's like a heavy smoker, like a consistent, not just a social, like somebody that chiefs at least like 3-4 times a week type of shit. Like they've considered growing their own shit
yeah. I think not only that's an economical decision too.
as well. Not only that, for sure
Yeah,
though.
yeah, yeah. At this point in time, bro. Yeah, man.
We got to a pretty good
Yeah,
conversation. I'm curious
yeah,
how long this
dude.
video is.
She's pretty long, bro. What?
Probably gonna be like
Yeah, damn.
2 to 3 hours.
Yeah.
It's gonna be my longest one. I got 30 minutes on one, 40s on like another. My longest one I think was the sneaker one that was like an hour. It might have been more.
Bro,
I
it's
don't
easy.
remember.
It's easy when two people are driving the conversation. It's not
That's
hard.
why for sure. And like I said, I knew that we were gonna feed out the conversation correctly. Like I know the questions to ask. I know
Yeah,
you can elaborate on your answers. I know how to further elaborate on the answer.
there it
So
is, man. And it's not bad for the first run, bro. You got.
yeah, for
Not
real.
bad.
No, I think this went really good. Assuming audio and everything I picked up right. The only thing I would change different if I could is just have my screen a little bit bigger so that we both kind of have like the same size. Because right now, when we talk, when like the recording is gonna look like how I'm big screen for you and you're small screen.
Well,
I'm small screen, you're big screen. So video wise, you're gonna be the majority of the podcast.
oh shit.
If you see it like visually, if you're just listening to it, then you're just listening to it and it sounds like how it sounds. But where I
Uh,
upload it, you can't see it visually. Like on Spotify, I think Apple has a video as well. YouTube, it's on video. What I've been doing with YouTube too is like I've been creating a wallpaper to give as like a free downloadable. So like every time I drop a podcast, there's a wallpaper associated to it. So I don't know if you've seen the thumbnails to my podcast, but that's what they are. Those are the wallpapers I've been making.
mm.
So every podcast I've been dropping one. I've been wanting to do one where like I make one on every podcast and then release it on the next one. Just so people have like something to come back and get, and it's free. I can always make it like it's just being creative. I could be creative and
Oh,
unlimitedly. So,
uh,
but
you
yeah,
want to
man,
see
we'll
that
call
black
it on
man?
this one. You said what?
You want to see that black man?
Yeah, hell yeah. That's what we're gonna end the podcast with. He's gonna give us a quick little look for those who are not visually seeing this. I'll try to describe what I see as best as possible, or he will.
All right,
But
I
if I
get
don't get
this
a chance to
wire.
say anything, Larry, I appreciate you taking the time to do this podcast with me. My first guest on the podcast, first of
Yeah,
many.
no worries.
Damn, that shit looks nice.
You can see it. It's almost black. I
Yeah,
don't
that
know if
shit
you
is
can. I don't know.
dark. So we're
Let's
looking
see. Let
at
me.
a plant that's pretty much almost. No, it's not done, right?
It's
It's still got to blow up.
yeah. It's gonna be done maybe in about like a week or less than that.
All right.
Yeah, it's just small.
He's
It's a
got
little
a
small one, but
beefy cola though.
yeah, it's a really big. It's pretty big. Yeah, but mostly it's just dark black, dude. I don't know if you can really
Yeah, like I'm
see
trying
it.
to see any kind of green on the leaf, but no. And the tips look
Dude, yeah.
perfect, like just very small burnt,
Yeah.
which is what you want. That's you're feeding it like
No, this
perfect.
is yeah this is already old. Like they're already changing here. Like it's trying to yellow and curve, so
Yeah, it's just absorbing
everything's
all the
starting to
nutrients.
yellow up. Yeah,
Are
it's like
you
you see
do
the
you let
certain
it dry up
things.
before harvest so that it can just grab everything off the soil, or do you still feed it for for the microbes? Excuse me.
No, no, I before I let it dry up all the way. It's trying to stress the plant a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, so toward the end, it's okay to stress. You don't want to stress your plant out during the grow. You want to like give it its maximum amount, but like toward the end, it's okay to stress it out because it's not going to be around long enough to like flip or do anything crazy like that. So um, I like to let my medium dry out pretty well, and then I'll water it again, and I'll let it dry out again and watch. So it's like a little to and fro of stressing the plant out and not stressing it.
Hmm.
But this is like my first plant ever that's like black. Like it's literally black, and the stems are red. They're like burgundy.
Damn. Does what's it smell like? Is it dankies, fruity?
It's it's like a mix between like a gas and like a purpley I don't know, like a soft velvet purple
Hmm.
gassy type, like a not fruity but like a dark purple gas.
I see netting back
Something.
there. Were you doing like a sea of green with that one?
Um, initially, but the blue dream was like, man, fuck that,
It
I'm gonna
just
be ten
outgrew
feet tall.
it.
I'm gonna be 10 feet tall. I thought it was gonna be like 6 feet. No, 10 feet, man.
Fuck
Nine, nine and
it.
a half feet.
So this was an
Nine and a
example of where
half feet.
you just threw out what you had intended to do and just gave the plant what it wanted.
Yeah, and it just did too well, and it just got too big, and I had to like do some construction, and it was still too short. The lights were still too low, so
Quick question: why don't
yeah,
you grow outside?
because it's like ice cold right now. But
Okay, but do you
the
do
this
have
year
a
I'm
grow
waiting
season
for the
outdoors? You
season.
do have an outdoor grow season.
Yeah, it just I have these two giant dogs that just do not allow me to plant anything fresh in the ground. They
Ah,
dig it up and
I got you. So you have to have the plant a certain size for you to leave it out there before they know to leave it alone, or they'll still fuck it up.
No, they'll destroy it. They don't give a shit. There's no plants allowed in the backyard
Damn.
at
So do you got to
all.
build a
They will
barrier for it? Are
destroy
you
it.
gonna build something around to protect it?
I'm gonna I'm gonna kick their ass and then I'm gonna plant my shit outside. I'm just kidding. I'm gonna get it green. No, I have two sections, so I'm gonna put them in my parking section, and I'm gonna grow in the dirt area.
Okay.
So yeah, they're gonna be my little junkyard dogs for this season. But in the summertime, they sleep. I wash them up. I get them all cleaned up,
Mm.
and they live indoors with us. Because if I put them outside, they're gonna die of heat stroke out here.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah,
They'll fucking die.
Bakersfield's crazy.
Yeah, they'll die, bro. So I gotta you know, treat them well and keep them inside with us during the summer, which is a
Yeah.
good thing. It lets me grow out there. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but out here, the season's done by October, August. October, you're done.
Gotcha.
Yep, yep. Yep.
The
So that's what it
plant.
is right now. This
What
is the last
gallon
one.
pot is that in?
Yeah, this is the last one. Oh, what kind of pot? It's a 5 gallon.
5 gallon. Is
It's a
that
five
the
gallon pot.
biggest size that you normally do for your plants? 5 gallon.
Yeah, I do 5 gallons because I want to try to control the. I gotta wash all this stuff down. I want to try to control the. What is it? Damn, I got so much dirt back there. I didn't even notice this. Anyway,
Just
I use a 5 gallon because it kind of keeps it within 6 feet, like 6 or 7 feet. It doesn't get any higher than that.
usually is the standard rule of thumb still uh like a gallon for every month the plant's gonna be in there, or however old the plant is.
Just noticed that I got a lot of work to do. I just finished harvesting all this stuff and drying it, so I gotta like reset the whole room. And I'm
Okay,
just waiting for a bottle. It's like this soapy cleaning thing's called Reset. So I'm gonna spray the whole room down, get everything cleaned up, and then I'm gonna get ready for the next set of hydroponic.
gotcha.
Yep, yep.
All right. Well, next time you got some big shit going on, let me know. Let me know. We can record that shit. We can make
Yeah,
something out of it
it'll be it'll be very soon too.
for sure. I'll let you know
Yeah,
when I'm. I don't think I'm really gonna edit this one. I'm probably just gonna add your social media and like the intro,
mhm.
and
All
then
right.
I'll let you know when it's done. And then like if you want to share it to your followers, you can, so they can kind of see your progress, what you got. They got a name. They got a face to the IG page now. Quick little
Yeah.
intro. And
Why not?
they can always come back to the podcast, to kind of get updates, see what's up. If you got any kind of giveaways, giving some seeds away, stuff like that, is we can plug it
Yeah,
here,
that could be coming soon too.
shit like that.
But too bad
So
you're not here to. Too bad you're not here to see and smell it, man.
I'll be there one day. One day, this podcast is gonna be next to each other as opposed to digitally done.
Yeah.
That being said, we just need smell-o-vision really,
Yeah, man.
because quality now has gotten
Yeah.
pretty damn good for camera, but the smell, that's what I need to do is smell that shit.
Yeah, you gotta be careful what you're watching on TV too when you got it hooked up.
Fuck that. That shit only gets plugged in when I'm seeing cannabis.
You gonna be watching some farm shows or something. Yeah, man. This is thanks for inviting me to the podcast, and
For sure, for sure.
yeah, this is
Not so
this is the
difficult.
last
We did
time.
pretty good
Yeah,
for
it
our
was
first
fun,
time.
man.
Yeah. Caught
Yeah,
up with some old memories. Still shared some knowledge.
mhm.
Keep it
A
pushing.
little bit here and there.
Yep.
Sounds good, man.
All right, man. I appreciate your time. Thank you. I already know it's late for you, right? It's like 2 o'clock.
Yeah,
2:20. Just so you guys know, he is in California. I am in Georgia. There's a 3 hour time difference. So we're making this happen for y'all. I know he knows a
yeah,
lot of
yeah, yeah.
cannabis knowledge. I know how to pick his brain. So we're gonna be bringing a lot more content like this for you guys. So,
More stuff.
like I said,
Yeah,
I'll have
finish,
his
finish the.
Instagram and his social. I'll add it in the description, and I'll also try to add an ad somewhere in the edit for him, so you
Yeah,
guys can see where he's at. Um, And like I said, just follow him if you guys want to see just daily grow content, progress of the plants. Like he said, he'll end up posting pictures. If you guys saw the video, picture of the plants he already have there, that one's already up. Or are you gonna take pictures of that one you just showed?
Well, I'm gonna take some pictures of that one. Yeah,
All right, so
show you
boom,
guys
just hashtag the podcast or whatever, or just pod, so we know
Mm-hmm.
that's the one from the video. Just know you'll be
Sounds
on
good.
some clips. I'll tag you on some shit, so you start seeing a bunch of notifications of tags. Just know it's gonna be a bunch
All
of clips
right.
of you on the
Sounds
internet and
good.
shit.
Sounds
So,
good.
all right, brother. I appreciate your time, man. Have a great night.
All right, big man.
All
Yeah.
right, bro.
Peace and
Love you,
blessings.
bro. Peace.
Yep. Peace.
All right, not bad. Now, here's hoping that everything took well. Let me see something. Camera. Deactivate.